A warm welcome across the country, across the state. It's the Hilltop Office Supplies State League Grand Final between the West Torrens Eagles and the Henley&Grange Rams, live from Bennett Field at Baseball South Australia, right here at West Beach at beautiful Ghana land. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are tuning in from. My name is Eric Ballnar, so pleased to bring you all of the action from the marquee series of the South Australian Local League Baseball calendar. Two teams that can make serious claim for being the best regular season teams all season. Henley can make that claim because they had the best record. They stormed out to a 21-1 record to start the season. Meanwhile, the West Torrens Eagles, well, they got hot late. They're 19-2 in their last 21 games, and they are the in-form team entering the finals. Both teams swept their way through the minor rounds of these playoffs in the qualifying final and in the preliminary finals, and now they meet each other. The Eagles, they're the defending champions. They won last year in a 3-game set over Goodwood. Henley&Grange, though, they haven't been to a grand final since 2000. This is just the second time this millennium that they've found their way into the final weekend of the season. West Torrens, they have been one of those marquee teams over the last 5 years. Both teams littered with talent. Both teams think they have the winning formula. Both clubs have women's teams playing just down the road in grand finals in Division 2 and Division 3, and we expect their supporters to fill the grounds shortly. Henley&Grange, they'll be wearing the maroon that you see down the road. And they'll be taking the field first as the home team. The West Torrens Eagles, they're no strangers to this occasion. They'll be batting first, and here is how they will line up. Nick George playing left field and batting first. Jacob Scott, third baseman and batting second. Tom McGarry, the catcher, and batting third. Sam McGarry, the second baseman, and batting fourth. Tyrone Hambley batting fifth and playing first. Nico Vanderlinden, the shortstop, batting sixth. Mitch Neuenborn, the designated hitter. He's back from Team Australia's duties at the World Baseball Classic. He's the designated hitter. Nathan Vanderlinden, the right fielder, and Jasper Clark rounding out the lineup at center field. Defensively, here is how the Henley&Grange Rams line up at third base. Liam Bull at shortstop. Koki Yanazawa at second base. Giovanni Garbella, all three of those players on the Team of the Year announced at Caps Medal Awards night on Wednesday. Jet Clohessy at first base. Griffin Weber catching the balls and strikes versus former team in a grand final. The outfield, Luke Travaskis in left field, Jack Partington at center field, and Phil Acosta at right field. On the bump right now, it's the South Australian Baseball League's Pitcher of the Year, the starting pitcher of the year. It's Landon Hernandez. A simply brilliant regular season. He was 13-0. He's added another win in the finals, and that happened last week when he pitched 8 2/3 in a winning cause on Game 1 on Saturday afternoon versus Adelaide to get themselves in the big dance. He has a 1.61 ERA, an 0.77 whip, and he doesn't walk a lot of players. Control is the name of the game for the 36-year-old crafty veteran. We'll see what he can do going up against a championship-winning lineup. Players, all 9 of these players that are in the lineup for West Torrens played in the grand final last year. They are defending their crown versus a team that's been knocking on the door for a while. It should be a very fun weekend. I'm so glad you could join us. Let's have some fun. Let's play some baseball. Landon Hernandez, ball in hand. Griff Weber ready to receive behind the plate. Nick George steps in at the plate, and we are about ready to go. And right off the bat, a first pitch swing, and it's going to dribble all the way to the wall. Nick George rounding one. He'll head to 2, and he'll stand up. A first pitch double for Nick George to start the party for the Eagles. One thing you do know with Landon Hernandez is he throws a lot of strikes, so you know something is going to be in the zone. And it took exactly one pitch of this grand final for the Eagles to have a runner in scoring position. Sets it up for Jacob Scott. He's been a player that's been used in various points in the lineup. A homegrown talent at West Torrens. Came through the system, grew up playing charter baseball with a lot of his teammates, not just on West Torrens, but across the dugout diamonds right now with Henley&Grange. And he's been hanging around for a while in the scenes. Second pitch, and it's a bunt laid down the line. Charging on is Liam Bull. He'll make the play across the diamond, but he advances the runner to third. Well, it's going to give West Torrens a few different ways to score a run. A fly ball should score a run. A ground ball could even score the run if done in the right place. And a base hit all but certainly scores a run. And who better to have up to bat than their RBI leader in Tom McGarry. He was the RBI king last season in the South Australian Baseball League, and brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. And he led the team in RBIs. This one flared out foul. There'll be less to let that one go, and it's just strike one on him. Tom McGarry, a tremendous season once again. The McGarrys in the middle of the lineup have been nothing short of outstanding for the West Torrens Eagles for another season. We'll take a pitch down low, evens up the counts at ones. Great year where he hit .368 and his on-base plus slugging percentage of .1267. Great metric of how powerful and effective a batter is, the best on the team. And he fouls one away. It will put the second strike on. The McGarry brothers, the two players on this team that have consistent power, but the great hallmark of this Eagles team is every player in this lineup can do their damage in their own way. Nick George fast as well. That's why you say a ground ball will score, and Landon Hernandez steps off the plate, but a late timeout called by Tom McGarry. .368 on the year, 12 home runs, 33 RBIs. All these stats including their 4 playoff games. And this is exactly the formula that West Torrens needed. Have a runner 90 feet away with their 2 biggest bats coming to the plate. That pitch catches just outside, so evens or brings the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. A walk, not the worst case scenario here. It does open up the double play ball. Check swing, and he didn't go. And it's a walk. Not the worst case scenario for Henley&Grange. Puts a double play ball into effect, which could get them out of the inning. But still, a fly ball should score a run, and Sam McGarry has some pop too. That is just the 12th walk that Landon Hernandez has issued all season. This is his 101st inning that he's worked in the State League competition. Sam McGarry steps in and slashes one foul. Sam McGarry hit .369 this season with a .500 on base percentage. Curious, you have Tom McGarry, he hit .368, and Sam McGarry hit .369. 2 brothers in the middle of the lineup, and their batting average is almost identical. The 0-1 count. And Hernandez has that break just a little bit outside to even up the count at 1. 27 runs batted in for Sam McGarry. That's second on his team to his brother Tom, who stands at first. Nick George is over at third. This is the first grand final that Henley&Grange have been in 23 years. Swings at one. It's to deep left field. Will it be deep enough? It should be. Travaskis brings it in. George is tagging up. It will be cut off. There won't be a play at first. They'll try to get the runner at second. The ball pops out of Giovanni Garbella's hand, and the first run of the grand final is on the board. It'll be a sacrifice fly to Sam McGarry, and the Eagles are in flight early. It's 1-0. That's been the calling card of the Eagles for the last couple seasons, is team baseball, and they did that just there. Nick George, one pitch, he leads off with a double. They bring him to third with a bunt, and then they bring him home with a fly ball to left field. All very simple stuff, but fundamentals getting an early run on the board for West Torrens. Tyrone Hambley, the coach of the team, he's batting 5 in the lineup. He has been the heart and soul of this West Torrens club, really, since he returned back from the United States. He had an esteemed college career, played Division I over in the USA. He's helped guide West Torrens to 2 premierships in the last 6 years, and they have been around the mark or contending for a championship or on that final 2 weekends of the year each of the last 6. Death taxes in West Torrens being a contender. Hambley jammed a little bit. This pops straight up in the air. Hernandez will call his own number. He'll make the play. There's the third out. But Nick George's leadoff double on the first pitch that he saw has sparked the first run for the Eagles, and the Rams will have to play from behind. Let's take a look at how the Rams will line up defensively, or batting lineup rather. You have Koki Yanazawa leading things off. He's the shortstop. Jack Partington at second, the center fielder. Batting 3 is Giovanni Garbella, the second baseman. Landon Hernandez batting 4, and Liam Bull batting 5. As far as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s go in the South Australian competition, I'm not too sure statistically it gets much stronger than those 5, and the rest of the lineup pretty dangerous too. Griffin Weber batting 6, Jet Clohesi batting 7th, Luke Travaskis batting 8th, and Phil Acosta rounding out the lineup at 9. Around the grounds defensively for West Torrens, it's Nick George out in left field, Jasper Clark in center field, and Nate Vanderlinden in right field. Jacob Scott at third baseman. The shortstop is Nico Vanderlinden. Sam McGarry patrolling his usual spot at second base. Tyrone Hambley at first, and Tom McGarry is catching. The game ball, though, on the mound going to Will Corticus. What a move he has made. Corticus has been the predominant innings eater for the West Torrens Eagles this year with some very solid numbers. Pitched 94 and 2/3 innings this year with a 2.76 ERA and a 1.11 whip. 101 strikeouts in 94 innings. Walks have been a little bit down this year, so his numbers have been much improved when he's not giving away those free bases. So Will Corticus on the mound will face Koki Yanazawa as Henley&Grange look to issue their response. Yanazawa was never swinging. He takes a first pitch strike. Well, Koki Yanazawa probably had his breakout season last year, but he took his game to a whole new level this year. A tremendous season for the player that came over from Japan, and he went to Seton High School and now made that transition over to club ball at Henley&Grange over the last few seasons. And he swings through a breaking ball that goes down low. Hit .350 on the year with a .474 on base percentage, 4 home runs, 21 RBIs, and was named to the team of the year, and a very deserved mark for the shortstop. there were a few holes that needed to be filled and some production that needed to be replaced with Henley&Grange this season. A few key players left last year. One of them in the infield was Darcy Berry, and Koki Yanazawa has really flourished in his role at shortstop. Yanazawa fouls one away. He's a tough at-bat, Koki Yanazawa. Just signed to go over and play in Europe, so he'll keep playing baseball, which is great to see for young Koki. "23 strikeouts on the year in his 155 plate appearance. Now he slashes one to the left field line. Does that stay foul? And that's where it goes. Foul ball into the Eagles bullpen. So Yanazawa, who fell behind in the count very early on, is now battling away and trying to work Will Corticus in a tough position. The 1-2 to Yanazawa. Yanazawa reaches out one. Jacob Scott having a look at it at third, and that slips foul again. And just such a characteristic at-bat from Koki right now. Corticus will deal on the 1-2. Yanazawa to left field, and it's Nick George moving under it, and one down. Well, Will Corticus has had a really nice recovery from a devastating arm injury he had about 3 seasons ago now. Last year was probably more about him having that first full season back at it. And now he's starting game 1 of the championship series. What a season for this man in the batter's box in Jack Partington. Partington at .391 on the season with 27 stolen bases, a .500 on base percentage, and showed some power with 8 home runs and 33 RBIs. He's had a few tremendous state league seasons in a row now, and this year his numbers were rewarded with the Adelaide Giants. He was a feature in many of those rosters this season, including time in the playoffs with the Adelaide Giants when they won their Claxton Shield. 2-0 count makes it 2-1. Led the competition in stolen bases, so a critical one for Will Corticus and the Eagles to keep him off the base paths, knowing that the most threatening bat in the competition is on deck. Partington doesn't love the call, but it looked like it hugged that edge of the plate. Two balls and 2 strikes to Partington. That ball will slip away. He brings the count full. Certainly a lot more walks this season for Jack Partington, and that helps him get more on base, and that's where he likes to use his wheels. And that's where he'll go. He'll saunter to first base, and Partington, who has some wheels on him, will be on base for Giovanni Garbella. And Garbella, one of the premier imports this season in the competition. Had a 3-year career at Valparaiso in the NCAA, played professionally in Italy. Played with the New York Boulders in the Frontier League, and now has made his way over to Australia, and his numbers are like video game numbers this season. These numbers that I'm about to read off, they are inclusive of the playoffs, but if you include the playoffs, he's hitting .402. He's got a 1469 OPS with 15 home runs and 50 RBIs. He can run too. He's got 14 stolen bases. Garbella certainly has provided the power, and he'll have to take a moment out of the box. Doesn't love it. His numbers were so impressive that this year the Canberra Cavalry in the Australian Baseball League came and knocked it, and he played most of the series in the second half of the year. He has been tremendous. 3 home runs in the final so far. They tried to check a runner at first, and Partington will easily get to second, and he's rounding second. He's going to third. The throw across the diamond, and a quick mistake has put Jack Partington at third. Look at the replay, and the throw from Corticus was just in the dirt and then got tied up in the tarp. And by the time Tyrone Hambley had picked up the ball, it was Jack Partington who had already started his journey to third base, and that's where he'll stand. So now a deep fly ball from a powerful hitter in Garbella will score a run. And he'll knock it to the opposite field, and he'll tie the ball game. Boy, a great response from Henley&Grange after falling behind early. And that time he just didn't try to do much. Stay with it, keep it low, put it opposite field. No one in South Australia has driven in more runs than Giovanni Garbella, and he starts the championship series just like he's been doing all season by driving in another, and it's 1-1. And he's got speed too, and a healthy lead at first base. Landon Hernandez up to bat. Again, polled high in the Caps medal vote this season, finished top 5 again. A place where Landon Hernandez lives. In the top 5 of the MVP, the best and fairest voting in this competition. He's won one of them. That was back in 2021. Now he's working on a 2-0 count. Hard to believe that Hernandez has been in Australia for just a little over a decade. Takes a strike. This top of the order just so dangerous. Hernandez came to Australia back in 2011. He had a 4-year career at the University of Hawaii playing Division I baseball. Knocks it to third, and it's a base hit for Hernandez. Garbella will hold up at 2. It's bobbled a little bit by George. He'll throw it in, and sliding in is Hernandez, who takes out the legs of Jacob Scott. Sliding in is Garbella, rather, and it's back-to-back hits from 2 professional hitters. And now it's runners on the corners for Henley&Grange. Garbella, the hard slide. And again, when you're at West Beach, the wind, just like it is tonight, it's cold, it's windy, balls will get hung up. Both batters just driving the ball. Liam Bull up to bat. Another player on the team of the year. The first 5 players in this Henley&Grange lineup all on the All-Star team for the South Australian Baseball League. 20-year-old Liam Bull, one of them. Liam Bull just finished his first season in the Australian Baseball League with the Adelaide Giants. Got some game time in some key moments. I'm sure he learned a lot in his career from that experience. But he's a lifelong Ram. He started at this club, and he's going to lay down a bunt. It's a squeeze. It's going to score a run. Liam Bull catching everybody off guard. Drops down a bunt, scores Garbella, sacrifices himself, but gives Henley&Grange the lead. That is team baseball right there. Fundamentals going to be the key part of the word as Griff Weber comes up to bat. His junior club, and he played some senior time, was with West Torrens. He made the move a few seasons ago to Henley&Grange. Grew up playing a couple years older than guys like Liam Bull, but certainly part of that outstanding generational talent that South Australia had that won the under-16 and under-18 national titles. Weber along the ground. Vanderlinden scoops and fires, but 2 runs across the board in response. And a few fireworks have started the grand final. The Henley&Grange Rams lead the West Torrens Eagles 2-1. You're watching the championship series. We'll take a quick break.
Servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.
Well, a nervy start you could possibly say for both of these teams, but Henley&Grange with a quick 2-1 lead. Both teams laying down bunts when required. Liam Bolt on a squeeze play has given Henley&Grange the lead, and that will allow Landon Hernandez, the 36-year-old former Caps medal winner, to go back on the mound. Hernandez in previous seasons has been known for the damage he causes with the bat, and he's still very threatening, Landon Hernandez, with the bat, but certainly this year was his best pitching year. Transitioning more into that role. Only 11 walks all season long entering this game for Hernandez. Nico Vanderlinden up to bat, leading things off for the Eagles. Mentioned earlier how the brothers on this team, Tom McGarry and Sam McGarry, have nearly identical batting averages. Well, there's 2 other brothers on this team. That's Nico and Nathan Vanderlinden, and unbelievably, they have identical batting averages at .217 each. Swings at a pitch. This one over to Yanazawa. He scoops, bobbles, quick transition across the diamond, and he got him. He had to battle a little bit, but Koki Yanazawa had the ball take a funny hop. He bobbled, but a quick transition from the Japanese star to get the first out. Brings up Mitch Neuenborn to the batter's box. Neuenborn back in Australia. Just spent the last month with the national team in Japan at the World Baseball Classic. Used as a pitcher in that role and in big situations. Neuenborn, part of that Australian team that got all the way to the quarterfinals in Tokyo at the World Baseball Classic. Also won a championship with the Adelaide Giants this year. Opposite field and moving back close to the track is Phil Acosta, and he can't find it, and he won't find it because it's over the fence. Oppo Taco, Mitch Neuenborn has gone deep, and this ball game is tied up. Pitchers who rake. A solo shot from Mitch Neuenborn has tied the game. And that ball just got up and caught a little bit of a jet stream that's angling the balls towards right field. And it's 2-2 just like that as Nathan Vanderlinden comes up to bat. Nieuwenborn, one of the more athletic characters in all of Australian baseball, one of the most highly regarded pitchers, maybe the best pitcher going in Australian baseball right now. But he did it with the bat, and he was a two-way player all through juniors, and now it's 1-1. Nathan Vanderlyn in another one of those two-way players. He steps into the batter's box. Vanderlyn in, just like his brother, hitting .217 this season. He was another key part. He was on that championship series roster for the Giants that won that Claxton Shield title, and he swings and misses. And just as soon as he gets in the batter's box, he walks out of it. It's a strikeout for Landon Hernandez. That's his first one of the day. Well, Jasper Clark steps up to bat, and he was maybe the spark plug, the energy player last year in West Torrens win. He is an energy player. He always has been throughout his junior career and now his senior career. And he fouls one hard off to the right field line. Takes a pitch on the outside. Runs scored in all 3 half innings so far. Entertaining start to this grand final series. This grounded towards third. Bull charges on, takes a step back across the diamond, makes the play, and that will retire the side. But a long ball from Mitch Nieuwenborn has leveled this game up at 1. You figured both these teams would be trading shots. As you take a look at the replay, Bolt charged on, had to take a step back. He'd be very familiar with playing on this infield. He trained nearly every day on it when he was with the Giants this year, and a little advantage that he has. Most of these players, obviously all of them have played on this diamond and trained from time to time here, but all their clubs do not have that dirt cutout. West Beach can be sometimes unpredictable on that infield. So Liam Bull's experience proven strong there. Well, both these teams have been on tremendous runs at times. 21-1-1. That is how Henley&Grange started their season this year. A truly tremendous start. West Torrens, on the other hand, there was some nervy times. They started the season 4-5 or 4-4-1 at one point. They were 5-4-1 at Christmas, and they lost their first 2 games in 2023. Since then, though, including the playoffs, they're 19-2. They've won 9 straight, haven't lost back-to-back games since that start of the year. They're a dangerous team. That's why they're in the grand final. 7, 8, 9 batters are due up for Henley&Grange. And Jet Clohessy will lead things off. This is in his first full season at the Division I level. Henley&Grange with a few juniors that have really come up the ranks together or have been lifelong Rams. Clohessy, one of them. Travaskis, another. He's due up. Liam Bull. You'd almost include Koki Yanazawa in that as well. He came from Japan and then went from Seton High School over to the Henley&Grange Rams. But Jet Clohessy got a great opportunity. 3 players, 3 of their regular starters last year and all stars left Henley&Grange. Clohessy benefited from their departures. Knocks one over towards first on the backhand. Flip from Hambley to the pitcher, Corticus, 1 down. Look at the replay. Nice little backhand grab from Tyrone Hambley. And the first out is made. Luke Travaskis up to bat. Another player enjoying his first full season at the Division I level. Started to work his way in the lineup as the season went on. Another lifelong Ram. would mean a lot to him playing in this grand final. Pops it straight up in the air. Tyrone Hambley calling for it in foul territory, and Hambley all over the action in this second inning. He makes the play. 2 down. Last time the Rams were in the championship series was 23 seasons ago. There's Hambley making the grab. Phil Acosta steps up to bat. It's been a family affair with both these clubs. Brothers literally on West Torrens. But a very family-oriented club at Henley&Grange, and Phil Acosta has his family that's flown in from California to see him play in the championship series. He steps in. Corticus delivers the pitch, and this one fouled once away, so a couple strikes on the board to Phil Acosta. Tremendous player to have in the 9-hole. .315 batting average this season. Stole 12 bags. And a great guy in that second leadoff spot to get on board for that power 5 of Yanazawa, Partington, Garbella, Hernandez, and Bull. The 1-2 from Corticus. Pitched on the outside, evens the count up at 2. Let's see if Henley&Grange can get a base runner. Fouled again away, so he's hanging tough after falling behind 0-2. The Mitch Neuenborn home run, the difference in the second inning so far in the West Torrens half to tie the game up at 2. Ball along the ground to first base. Just called foul. Tyrone Hambley gives a coy smile over to the first base umpire. Hambley responsible for the first 2 outs of this inning. So we'll do it again with the 7th pitch of this at-bat in a battle between Will Corticus and Phil Acosta. Swing and a miss. It's a strikeout from Will Corticus, his first of the night. That ends the inning. It's a 1-2-3 digs. After 2, we're tied at 2. We'll be back to Bennett Field after this.
Here at Just the Thing Furniture, we offer quality factory direct furniture at wholesale prices. From wall clocks, prints and lamps to couches, beds, rugs and outdoor furniture. We make furniture affordable, where you save up to 80% on retail, offering you the finest furniture at discount prices. When you buy from us, you won't wait months for your new furniture. Everything you see is ready for immediate delivery, and mention Super League Baseball and we'll deliver it for free. We pride ourselves on customer service, and our team works tirelessly to offer our customers on-trend furniture at heavily discounted prices. Visit our huge warehouse in Beverley, open 7 days a week, or jump online to check out our latest deals at www.justthethingfurniture.com.
Beautiful night for championship baseball. Henley&Grange and West Torrens. The Battle of the West tied at 2 after 2. Landon Hernandez on the mound, the Caps medal winner from a couple seasons ago. He's allowed a home run, and he allowed that leadoff double to Nick George. But it may as well be like there's been no run scored at all, because we're still tied at 2. Nothing between them as we enter the third, and we're joined by a special guest for the next inning or two. It's the premier baseball writer in South Australia, historian. He's played the game, he's administered the game, he's done a little bit of everything. Robert Laidlaw, what's going on, man? Welcome to the broadcast booth.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, it's baseball, mate. Baseball grand finals. Just about the best time of the year.
It is. It's in buzzing. You got baseball and softball grand finals happening over the next couple weeks. So tomorrow especially, it's kind of the Super Saturday of Diamond Sports. I know you're all about that with the coverage that you provide on your website. So it must be like a dream day tomorrow on Saturday, knowing you got softball grand finals, or you got softball finals rather. You got baseball grand finals. The fun Saturday.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because even if the team that wins tonight wins tomorrow night, Gawler Rangers under 17's got the grand final at Gawler. So,
and the women's grand finals on Sunday morning here, 10 a.m.
Yes, and second semi in the softball tomorrow.
So you have grand finals starting tonight. You had 2 down the road in Division 2 and 3. Both these clubs featured in those. They actually don't have the results on them, as Nick George will get jammed over to shortstop, and it's a nice play from Koki Yanazawa to retire this side. But yeah, it's probably the best weekend of the year in terms of the Diamond Sports calendar, you could call it.
But then again, the OVL grand final wasn't too bad either.
Now, that was a good weekend too. I think that'll be all right. You had the Claxton Shield. I saw you had that down at Gawler. Did the club like having that down there?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the first time in 43 years the Claxton Shield's been here in South Australia.
Pretty cool.
It was. It's unbelievable.
Jacob Scott takes a pitch on the outside. Both pitchers trying to find their rhythm. Well, West Torrens and Henley&Grange, Rob, these two teams at times have looked like the best team in the competition. Obviously, Henley started off red hot. West Torrens finished red hot.
Yep.
So entering this series as Hernandez deals, how do you find some differentiating factors between these two teams?
It's so hard, isn't it? I think you look at West Torrens, and they've probably got an edge in the depth of pitching.
Jacob Scott goes down on strikes.
But then you look at Henley, and they've got Giovanni Garbello's probably the best hitter in the league. So, you know, and then you're at the top of the table for Henley, you got Koki and you got Jack Partington, the speedsters. And then West Torrens, you got the McGowie brothers. I mean, and they're almost competing for each other to see who's going to hit the most home runs.
Well, we have Tom McGarry up here. I brought this up on the broadcast for all our friends at home watching as Tom McGarry sets in. If you include the playoffs, the batting average of Tom McGarry and Sam McGarry separated by 1/1000th of a point. So .368 and .369 between the two of them. Nathan and Nico van der Linden, identical batting averages.
Yeah.
That's weird, right?
They're almost twins, even though they're not, you know?
Tom McGarry settles in, an RBI machine in this competition for the last couple years. When you think of West Torrens, they have so many moving parts to this lineup. Everybody can contribute, but the Tom and Sam McGarry brother combination really has been the heart of the lineup and arguably part of the heart of this club over the last couple years.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at the two teams, you boil it down, and the advantage for West Torrens is the McGarry brothers, whereas for the Rams, having Koki and Jack at the lead-off. So they come from two different angles, don't they?
They sure do. Hernandez, a quick mover when he delivers the ball. He's a fun one to watch. As the pitch just inside brings the count full.
I just couldn't believe it that Landon was 13-0 this year. Unbelievable.
13-0. He's 36 years old. He's not really known as a pitcher before the last couple seasons. Over and a nice take from Liam Bull. The throw on the money across the diamond. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Landon Hernandez. Responds to Will Corticus's 1-2-3 inning, and the scores remain tied as we head to the bottom of the third. But yes, Landon Hernandez, Robert, he wasn't, I mean, he's always been a very talented baseball player, but pitching wasn't his primary trade, and now this year he wins the Pitcher of the Year with numbers that were just jaw-dropping. I think it was that 0.77 whip for me that was impressive.
Well, you know, when he first came out to Australia, he played for Golden Grove Central Districts. He was a catcher, and he pitched occasionally.
Yeah, and he was the player of that. He was the MVP of Golden Grove Central District Dodgers for a couple seasons.
Yeah, fantastic guy, and of course he's married and settled down here in Australia. He's an Aussie now. He's like you, mate.
He's like me. But can you believe that Landon has been around South Australian baseball for over a decade now?
Well, you know, that's the beauty about South Australian baseball is that when they do come over and they stay, they're part of the furniture, and that's so good because the value that they give to youngsters, to juniors, and things like that, it's what we need here.
So the we're going to see this powerful 5 start of the lineup for Henley&Grange to start this inning. Koki Yanazawa, Jack Partington, Giovanni Garbella, Landon Hernandez, and Liam Bull. As far as first 5 in a batting lineup go of the 13 Division I teams, is there a lineup that's more dangerous than those 5?
It's hard to say. I mean, it's a mix, isn't it? Because you've got the on-base with the first 2 batters, and then you've got
3 powerful guys.
Yeah, and Bully is just, he can bunt.
Well, we saw that earlier. Oh, my goodness.
But who expected him to bunt? I mean, you expect he's a guy that's going to drive the ball in the outfield, and he bunted.
So you've watched a lot of grand final series over your time. What is usually the kind of key element that it comes down to? Because in the regular season, you play Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. You get in a rhythm. Playing 3 games in 3 days doesn't happen at any point of the season. At no point are you playing on Friday night unless there's a very special occasion, as Corticus will deal to start the inning to Yanazawa. So how is it different, and what's the key thing you look for in a final series?
Well, I think in a final series, you want to win one of the games to take the 3rd game, because then it's anyone's game, because you've depleted the pitching. You're looking at a different ball game for game 3, as we've seen several times. They're blowouts, but at the end of the day, it's sort of like almost a toss of the coin when you have the 2 best teams playing in the grand final.
These have been the 2 most impressive teams in terms of dominant stretches this season. Yanazawa drives one to right field. That falls, and it's a base hit. A leadoff.
No, he's gone to second.
No, he's gone to second. It was bobbled over in right field, I think, from Nathan Vanderlinden. We'll get a look at the replay as you see Yanazawa flash the horns. Driven to right, and it was just misplayed. It was booted by Vanderlinden into center field. He put his glove down. I think that's what happened. That is what happened.
That could be costly, because that happened also in the first innings at left field. So, they're taking an extra base on a misplay from the outfield. So if he scores, who knows?
And a dangerous part of the lineup to do it, with Jack Partington with 33 RBIs on the season and 50 RBIs, Giovanni Garbella standing on deck. These are the 2 players that have been the most powerful and productive for the Rams this season, in Partington and Garbella.
Is there 83 RBIs by 2 players in the lineup? Has any other team got that?
Well, nobody else has 50 this season, and Giovanni Garbella was just an incredible pickup. And Henley, they built this team well, didn't they? They lost Bass Noy at the start of the season. They lost Wilson Lee, and they lost Darcy Berry. A lot of people said last year was that chance for Henley&Grange to win it, and they proved a lot of doubters wrong, or however many few there might have been, like starting off the season, winning 21 of their first 23 and only dropping 1 of those games. Pitch from Corticus. Fouled away.
Landon Hernandez is almost like a new player this year. He's a good player in the past. He won the Cats medal 2 years ago.
He's always top 5.
But he kind of grew a leg in pitching, and his batting dropped off, but he batted impressively in important games.
Doesn't walk a lot of batters. He doesn't overpower you with his stuff, Landon Hernandez, but it's crafty, it's smart. He nibbles around the edges, and he throws a lot of strikes.
And he fields his position well.
Partington, he has some wheels. We saw that as he advanced to 3rd on a misplay and then was later driven in by Giovanni Garbella. Changed the complexion of the first. And now he drives one to center field. It will get caught up in the wind. Jasper Clark will make the play. Yanazawa had a think of 3rd, but it was a good throw from Jasper Clark, so Yanazawa has to retreat. It's 1 down. But now Giovanni Garbella, the powerful player, here are his numbers on the year. A 402 batting average, and that's including the playoffs, these numbers. A 518 on base percentage and an OPS of 1469. 15 home runs, 50 RBIs, 14 stolen bases. Those aren't video game numbers. Those are Giovanni Garbella's. It's been a tremendous year in the 3-hole for this Ram.
Oh, he's been great, hasn't he?
Had a few accolades at the Caps Medal Awards night. Not only did he pole in a nice position, and a lot of Rams took votes off each other, but he was on the Team of the Year. Giovanni Garbella as the designated hitter, and he won the MVP of the Super League. With runners in scoring position, Garbella is the top in the competition. hitting .460 when there's a runner in scoring position, and he's got one now on second base.
And the value of Hernandez batting after him is the pitchers have to pitch to him. So that's where the power comes from Gabella, because they can't pitch around him because Hernandez will do the damage.
Big moment in a tie ball game. Well, it will put him well ahead. I think it's a 3-0 count now for Garbella, and you can tell that Corticus knows exactly who's up to bat, and he's not exactly tossing him a meat pie. I think he'd be okay with the walk in this scenario. Sort of saw this in the first inning. Landon Hernandez, when he was facing Tom McGarry, he was nibbling on the outside edge. He allowed him to go to first, put the double play ball into effect. It's a similar situation here with the count now 3-1.
But personally, I think this is where Hernandez is dangerous, when they walk Garbella.
Well, he's come back and thrown 2 straight strikes, so what do we know?
Yep, well, if he puts it in here, I think Garbella will do some damage.
Full count coming to the most powerful batter in this baseball season in South Australia. Yanazawa standing at second, 2-2 game. Garbella already with an RBI single in the first inning. And he swings through a pitch, battling back from 3-0 down. Will Corticus strikes out Garbella, and he's got 2 O's on the board.
That is a key strikeout. Unbelievable. Getting Garbella in that situation, 3-0, comes back 3 straight pitches. So, but Hernandez, he can do the job, mate.
Hernandez had a single to keep the rally going in the last inning. Slashed one over to left field. And he does the same thing again. Yanazawa getting the waiver, and he gets held up at the last second. So it'll be a 1-3 split. Almost a mirror image of that first at-bat from Landon Hernandez, where he swung at a pitch early in the count, drives one to left field. You can see Yanazawa, he was thinking he was going. He got held up at the very last second.
A bit conservative. I thought Koki would have gone for it because there's 2 out. Get a bigger lead, charge home on that hit. Just go for Gly.
Liam Bull steps up to bat. He had the second run driven in of the game for Henley&Grange. It came off a bunt that he dropped with a runner on first and third. There was 1 out at the moment. Again, with the corners playing back, could he do it again?
He won't drop a bunt here because it's too many risks. I mean, they got him out, and the thing is, to bunt in this type of situation, once you commit to it, it's very difficult to put it down the lines and run it out. 2 out.
The squeeze. The suicide squeeze.
Yeah, I've seen it done. But, you know, with 2 out, though, you've got to bunt it down the lines. And to have that accuracy, you know, with 2 out, it's really tough.
Liam Bull, though, one of the most talented batters in the competition, so you don't want to take the bat out of his hand either. And he scoops that one and knocks it to left field. Easily playable for Nick George. They get the leadoff runner on. They added another one in Landon Hernandez, but Will Corticus and the West Torrens Eagles get out of a jam and keep the score tied at 2. You're with Eric and Rob. We'll take a quick break and be back after this.
Citadel IT has been built on the foundations of trust and reliability. We have experience in all aspects of IT, including cloud computing, security, networking, and more. If you are looking for an experienced team that will give you an honest answer about your business needs, then contact Citadel IT today.
A third of the way through game 1, and it's 2-2 between West Torrens and Henley&Grange. Nick George had a leadoff double and was later scored on a sac fly to open the game. Henley&Grange immediately responded. RBIs to Giovanni Garbella and Liam Bull made it 2-1. Mitch Neuenborn had an opposite field home run in his first at-bat since returning back to Australia. That was pretty cool to see, to tie the game up at 2. And now it's Robert Laidlaw and Eric Ballnar in the broadcast booth for Game 1 of this championship series on a grand final weekend. The season, as quickly as it started, it comes to an end in South Australia this year.
Yeah, and you know Henley&Grange haven't been in a grand final since 2000 when they beat Goodwood, who won their first one since 1958.
Yeah. And
they won the 96 and 97 premierships, which are their only 2 Division 1 premierships.
Hell, big shout out to people watching all over the world, including Starlin Castillo, El Koala, as they called him, who says hi. So El Koala watching some of his former teammates playing around the world. So good day to you, El Koala. Make sure you say hi. But you're right about Henley&Grange not being there. And can you remember some of the players on those 95 and 96 championship teams and the 96-97 premiership teams?
Jordan Hodges.
Or, well,
no,
not
Jordan
Hodges'
father, sorry.
But how about players like Adam Nix, Andrew Tainty, Peter Arnold, the Forbes brothers, Ryan Simonson, Adam Rowe, Brett Hughes? All those players still playing, and now they're playing Division 5 and in a grand final tomorrow.
Yeah, look, they had a really good lineup, and
Sam McGarry up to bat, takes a pitch on the outside.
They had sort of, you talked about Nixie. Now, his father, Peter Nix, played league football for Central Districts in the 70s. And of course, Forbes, his dad, played for West Torrens back in the day. And there's a few father-son type combinations right through baseball.
A few brother connections on this West Torrens teams too, as Sam McGarry has one to right field, moving over, trying to make the play was Giovanni Garbella. It was a bit of a difficult one. I think it just took a last-second hop at the edge of that dirt, and Garbella couldn't field it cleanly, rather, and now there's a runner on first base.
See, that's a disadvantage here because they don't have that dirt infield at the club grounds where they normally play on, so he wouldn't have been used to that type of hop with the change of the dirt onto the grass.
Tyrone Hambley steps up to bat. So after reaching on an error, Tyrone will try to attack again as he takes a pitch on the outside.
Tyrone's a big game player as well. He picks up amazing amount of match-winning hits, doesn't he?
Well, the guy he's facing on the mound, Landon Hernandez, has been sort of similar. Both these players played Division I baseball in the NCAA ranks, have come to South Australia. Tyrone Hambley's from South Australia. And it might not be the number of hits they get, it's the quality of hits they get in those situations.
I've seen many times where West Torrens have won really close games and Tyrone's the one that sort of stood up. Whereas when they win easily, they have everyone contributing and Tyrone doesn't stand out as much.
Hambley kept the shoulder on the bat all the way, working 3-0 versus Landon Hernandez. Both these gentlemen also worked for Baseball South Australia in various roles in the administration, running different coaching academies as well. They worked together at one time.
Yep.
I think a tremendous amount of respect between this pitcher and batter battle as Hambley an awkward swing through that one, and he'll shrug it off versus Landon.
How many times do you see Tyrone do that really poor swing, and then he tightens up, comes up the handle a bit, and punches the ball?
I mean, he's a great hitter, Tyrone Hambley. And he punches a hot shot over towards Liam Bull. He dove for it. It got knocked into the outfield, and the first 2 runners are aboard. And Rob, just like you said, shortens the swing, punches it hard through, and you can see a great effort from Liam Bull. But that's going to be scored a hit, you would assume. That would be hard done to give an error there.
Well, I would have given it a hit, mate. How could you? You give an error on that play? It's a negative for the fielder and it's a negative for the batter. So he a tremendous dive to try and get that ball, wasn't it?
Well, now the bottom of the lineup stepping up for West Torrens, and they've got no outs and runners on first and second.
You have to bunt here, don't you?
Well, the powerful Mitch Neuenborn, who's already got a home run in this game, is on deck. So you'd think bunt would be the play.
But they're playing the bunt too, so maybe come around for the bunt, then get a hit.
That's what they're watching. We'll see what they do. There's Nico Vanderlinden.
Who's a good bunter, isn't he?
He's an athletic player as well. And he lays down the bunt. Hernandez will field it, and he'll make the play at third. A great play from the pitcher, Landon Hernandez, who didn't hesitate as soon as he picked up this ball. You can see it on the replay. He barehanded that, knowing that he wouldn't have had time to field it and throw it to third. That is a savvy play from a good fielder.
He did that last week against Adelaide as well in the preliminary final. And the difference there, you look at Bully's bunt where he bunted the run in, and you look at that one. Henley were prepared for that, and by being prepared, they were able to make those types of plays. Whereas when Liam Ball laid down his bunt, no one was expecting it, so it didn't have to be perfect, and they scored the run.
No, it was just last inning. You said that Landon Hernandez, one of the most underrated features is how he fields the ball over at first, and now a double play ball gets him out of the inning. Big difference between runner on second and third and one out, and runner on first and second and one out. But Mitch Neuenborn has a home run. He went opposite field in his last at-bat. Neuenborn, certainly one of the most exciting prospects going in Australian baseball right now, at just 24 years old, but certainly his prospect seems to lie on the mound, but he's always grown up a two-way player.
Yeah. Now, you in Tokyo, when he was playing for Australia, and he did really fantastic. He played fantastic for the Giants, but it was a bit disappointing for me that he gave up the run from Jack O'Loughlin. Otherwise, Jack would have been perfect in his innings.
How was his performance, though? Is versus the Czech Republic, 5 strikeouts in 2 1/3 innings of key work in the game that sent probably the most important innings he came in for versus the Czech Republic to send them to the quarterfinals.
Oh, he's fantastic. But Jack's a local guy. And
well, I think Mitch Neuenborn is a local guy, too, you could almost call it. He's been at...
He's from Western Australia, though.
He is from Western Australia, but he's been at West Torrens now for 3 seasons.
Yes, look, he's really matured as a player here. He was okay in Western Australia, but he reached his peak while he's over here. So obviously the water over here is a little bit better.
Also signed a contract extension with the Adelaide Giants, keeping him here in South Australia for another 3 seasons.
Wow.
Fouls one straight back. So Neuenborn obviously says a lot about what he thinks of South Australia and the South Australian baseball community.
Well, I remember the Giants game, his dad was over here, and I asked his dad, I said, look, we're playing the Perth Eagles. I said, who do you barrack for? He said, the Giants.
That's Peter Neuenborn. I'm sure he's watching right now. He is a great character. He was over in Tokyo. If you saw on TV the guy wearing the multicolored wig that was in green and gold, that was him. Wow. He was the one leading a lot of those cheers in the cheers section of the Australian support. He's a vocal supporter, Mr. Neuenborn.
You kind of look at Mitch's character and the way Mitch sort of holds himself up, and then you look at his dad, complete opposite.
One a bit more quiet and reserved.
Yeah.
The other one loud and out there.
Yeah.
Both great guys, though.
Oh, they are fantastic.
So Neuenborn has a runner on first and second. He has the tying blow in this game. Now he's looking to go ahead, and now Landon Hernandez having a little discussion with the umpire over just behind the mound. Sort of awkward in the middle of the at-bat here as Neuenborn's fouled a few away. It's a 2-2 count for number 22 in a 2-2 ball game with 2 runners on.
He's hanging in tough, isn't he?
Neuenborn and Vanderlinden, 2 Giants players back-to-back in this order, trying to give West Torrens a little bit of a lead. Swings through it, and it's a big strikeout from Landon Hernandez. And after allowing 2 runners on with nobody out, it's now 2 on and 2 out.
You know that you've got to take your hat off to both pitchers. I mean, both of them have pitched themselves out of spots. Now, Landon hasn't quite finished the job yet, but what Corticus did when he gave up 3 balls and then he got the 3 strikes on Garabella, and then just now.
Well, Landon Hernandez deals a pitch. It's a first pitch swing, and he grounds out. So Hernandez gets 3 straight outs, 1 with a strikeout, 1 a fantastic play from the pitching position, and induces the ground ball on Vanderland. And then just like Henley&Grange in their opportunity, they get the lead runners on, and they couldn't score any of them as we head to the middle of the 4th, and it's still a 2-2 game.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, but this is what grand finals are like. It's, you know, they both want to win desperately. I mean, you win the first game, you're in the box seat.
Well, it will be Griff Weber, Jet Clohessy, and Luke Travaskis. What do we think? We've got another visitor up here. What do we think? Landon Hernandez is pretty good?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you think? What's your name?
Mason.
Mason. Any relation to the great Landon Hernandez on the mound?
He hits home runs.
He hits home runs. Here, you can come speak in the mic, Mason. You want to give a message to your dad? He'll be watching this back. Mason Hernandez, a future Adelaide Giants player, coming up in the commentary booth right now. Mason, you play baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you taking I saw you doing batting practice earlier. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. What position do you play?
Right.
You play both? You can hit, you can pitch? Pretty good. Mason Hernandez, the son of Landon Hernandez, up here for a quick stint in the commentary booth. Have you seen Mason swing? I've been watching his swing in batting practice before games. It's pretty impressive.
Well, with a father like Landon, what do you expect?
Yeah, I think Mason's going to have some pretty good coaching growing up, I think.
Yeah, good on you.
Mason Hernandez, let's get a fist bump before we head back out. Well, his dad is pitching well in the game. He just got himself out of a jam, but it turns over to Will Corticus, who delivers the first pitch to Griff Weber. And Weber, of course, he grew up playing at West Torrens in that baseball system, and his dad now is coaching as well. But his brother on the roster for West Torrens.
Another catcher.
So Griff Weber, Jet Clohessy, and Luke Travaskis come up, and all similar sort of ages. Clohessy and Travaskis, lifelong Rams. As Weber will take the pitch. Just a little bit up high.
You know, when I remember there was a game where at Henley and Travaskis had all these mates that come and stirred him up, and they all had Travaskis on their stomach across the right field line.
Well, the Travaskis name, a very well-known name in the Henley&Grange community.
Yep.
DT, his father was one of the first players to get to, 800 games at Henley&Grange, I think?
And also his grandfather, Bob Simonson, played league football for Woodville.
His mother, Rowena, a big part of that community as well. So the Travaskis family, well known, and you'll see him up to bat in this inning. The Griff Weber, though, also part of, you could call it South Australian baseball royalty as he battles away.
Yeah, Burke Weber, his dad, been around forever.
Played for the Adelaide Giants. As this one fouled away. His brother Oscar plays as well, but
He's
Burke
a backup
Weber,
catcher.
well, Burke Weber won that under 16 and under 18 national championships, and then a next generation later, his son comes through and helps break the drought as well. One of 3 father-sons on those teams.
Yeah.
As Weber swings through a pitch upstairs, climbing the ladder is Will Corticus. What do we think of that pitch? It was good. Mason likes the pitch. We'll keep Mason up here because he's gonna help watch his dad pitch in a couple outs from now. As Jet Clohessy comes up to bat, and another player getting his first opportunity at the Division I level.
Now he's got an uncle, Darren Clohessy, played league football for Central Districts.
Did he?
Yeah.
And he swings at a hard pitch. This one goes foul just down the line. So Clohessy battling away here. Both teams threatened in their last half inning. It was a leadoff runner at second for Koki Yanazawa, and then runners on first and third. And the big part of the order couldn't get it done for Henley&Grange, and West Torrens returned serve. So Clohessy Has a pitch taken on the outside, makes it a 1-1 count. That one just outside. Mason doesn't like the pitch.
You know, in a lot of these types of games in grand finals, sometimes it's the unexpected person that actually becomes a hero.
Pitch swinging through, another pitch upstairs from Will Corticus. So it's a 1-2 count. Luke Travaskis is up next. As this one rides up inside. So some plucky at-bats, Robert, as these games are going on. These pitchers, batters taking a few more pitches. You saw that intent, aggressive intent from the start of the game. Some first pitch swings from both of the clubs.
But, you know, they've got to take the pitches because of pitch counts.
Yeah, pitch counts will come into effect this weekend, and that's part of the managers of this. And a good battle from Clohessy, and that one drops. It drops in front of Nick George, and Jet Clohessy will stand on first base. He's got the Rams dugout fired up, and both teams still battling away against each other.
Now, Jet was one of the candidates to get Rookie of the Year. He missed out to Ali Tanner from Kensington. But he was right up there. He was a good chance.
Well, this is his first opportunity getting regular game time at the Division I level, but he played Division II last season, and Henley&Grange, a very dangerous team last year. First pitch swing from Luke Travaskis, held up in the air. Nick George makes the play. Clohessy has to retreat to first, and that is 2 down. So an important at-bat here, just because Koki Yanazawa on deck is dangerous. There's a runner on first. If Phil Acosta can get on, there's going to be a dangerous part of the lineup with a couple cracks to try to score a run, or they can face him with nobody on. It's a big out right here for Will Corticus.
Now, Phil would just about be the number 1, number 9 hitter in the league.
Yeah, hitting .315 this season. Some fantastic numbers from Phil Acosta. And that pitch goes, just grabs the outside edge.
And he's got a bit of speed as well, which gives him that aura of being a little bit like a leadoff batter at the bottom of the lineup.
Swing, and that one gets checked through.
Foul ball.
So it's going to be a foul ball. Phil Acosta battling here. And he strikes out to end the inning. The intensity's starting to creep up. We've played 4 and it's still tied at 2. We're not going to go to break here. We're going to call our friend Mason back up here. Mason, Rob, we're going to keep you around here, but we're going to give a headset right here to Mason Hernandez. Mason, are you ready? You're going to be on the broadcast right here. Can you hear yourself? Can you hear me? All right, now Mason, you got to speak. Can you just what's your name?
Mason.
Mason, and what baseball club do you play for?
All of them.
You play for all the baseball clubs? What's your favorite baseball club? Do you have a favorite team?
Yeah.
Who is it?
The St. Louis Cardinals.
The St. Louis Cardinals. Why do you like the Cardinals?
Because they're my favorite team.
Yeah, that's a pretty good reason. Now, what about in South Australia, in Adelaide, where you live? Do you have a favorite baseball club? Who is it? Are they playing tonight?
Yeah.
Who is it? Is it Henley&Grange? What about your favorite player on Henley&Grange?
Landon.
Landon. Who's that? Can you point him out? Who? So he's the pitcher. And what makes Landon Hernandez a good baseball player?
Because he pitched so fast.
He can pitch really, really fast. Now, this weekend, Henley is in the championship, and it's the first time in a long time. Was Dad excited when they found out he was going to the championship?
Yeah.
He was? Was he really excited?
Yeah.
Now, I've seen you at games at Henley before. Are you at a lot of the games?
Yeah.
Do you like to play baseball?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you bat a lot.
Yeah, it is fun to bat. You bat more than cricket, don't you? Okay, so Mason, here's the deal right now. We're on the broadcast right now. We're telling the story of this game to the whole world right now. And your dad is about to pitch. Do you want to do some commentary of your dad pitching right now with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's really easy. All we got to do. So right now, we have up to bat Jasper Clark. So this is what we do. Hernandez has the ball. He throws it. He pitches, and it's swung, and it's knocked to right field, so it's a quick base runner. So now we're going to need some cheering for your dad, right? I think, right now.
Yeah.
Do you practice baseball with your dad? All right, so Nick George up to bat. So, do you practice baseball at home with your dad a lot?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think you can do this for me? Next time you have a batter coming up, you've got to say, Hernandez has the ball, he throws it, you just got to say what's happening out there, just like you were doing. Good pitch, bad pitch, what do you think? You can be the scout for your dad. Yeah? Giving you a little fist bump. You're bumping Robert Laidlaw out of a job. It's good. So the batter is Nick George. He comes up. You've got Jasper Clark on first. Mason, you want to give this a try?
Yeah.
All right. You watching? So it's a bunt down the line. They're going to try to advance the runner. Barehanded. This ball slips away.
Safe.
He's called safe. Runner going to advance to third.
That is safe.
Yeah, the batter, it was safe. So now we have a runner on first and third. Mason, your dad is, I think you need to go cheer him on down there. He's got 2 base runners on right now. We need Mason down there. We want to get a quick photo, though, from up? Our guest commentator, Mason Hernandez. Well done. Do you want to say a message to anybody at home?
Where is he? I don't know where he is.
Do you want to say hi to Pappy?
Is he actually watching?
First pitch taken from Jacob Scott.
Hello, Papi.
There's the hello, Pappy. That's Mason Hernandez, everybody. Mason, thanks for joining me. We'll catch you next year as well when your dad's playing in the grand final, too. Thanks for coming by. We'll bring up Robert Laidlaw with runners on first and third as Jacob Scott comes up to bat. So a big moment in the ball game, just like in the 4th inning. It was the first 2 runners on and nobody out.
But you've got a runner on third this time. That makes a big difference.
It certainly does, so the defense has to be a bit more conscious. It was a good effort from Liam Bull on the barehanded play.
What about the out? If Jed had just held on to it.
Did he get him? No, he didn't. It's a good pickoff move from Landon.
Yep. Well, he's a very clever fielder there. I mean, pick-off moves, fielding the ball. He took the catch, the infield fly that happened, and the thing is, normally the pitchers get right out of it, but he stayed in there and took control.
Jacob Scott up to bat. Bit of a hush over the crowd, locked in on the 2-0 count. Hernandez sets in another quick timeout. Now, Jacob Scott has just proved to be such a useful player. He can play multiple positions, although certainly at his best when he's on his infield at third base and shortstop. Just a high knowledge of the game. He's been batting anywhere from the top of the lineup to the bottom, just a guy that you can put in any situation, and he's got proven premiership success, Jacob Scott. Runner is going. There's going to be a fake throw from Griffin Weber, but now 2 runners in scoring position, and you were always going to wonder with runners on first and third if they were going to send that runner.
Oh, he was always going to go, and you're not going to throw over to him because he steals those bases without a runner on third. So it's a percentage play to avoid.
So Nick George at second, Jasper Clark at third, and the 2-3-4 batters due up right now for West Torrens, who are trying to take back the lead. Scott fouls one away. Brings the count even at 2s. Well, Tom McGarry and Sam McGarry due up here in the top of the 5th inning. Critical moment in this game. You figure you're circling your scorecard and saying this was one of the key moments that you'll see probably in Robert Laidlaw's recaps tomorrow. Jacob Scott settles in. Another hush over the crowd that started to build as this goes outside, so it's a full count, Robert Laidlaw.
It is, but he threw that pitch to try to sucker him into swinging at a ball sort of on the outside. Now he has to come down the middle. The advantage now is with Scotty.
You know a strike is going to be thrown. Fouled straight back and just battling away. Hernandez only 11 walks in 102 third innings this season. Not a lot of walks. He issued one today, but more of a strategic walk, I think.
I don't think he'll walk Scotty. I think if he does, he's going to foul off a few first.
Looking for some soft contact. This one put up in the air. It's in shallow in shortstop. This is perfect for Henley&Grange. One down.
You know, last week, Koki had a ball similar to that, just over second base, and he dropped it.
Well, here's the question for you as you have Russell Hart, who's coming out for a discussion with Landon Hernandez. Now, you have the RBI king of the last couple years in Tom McGarry up to bat, runner on second and third. Do you consider intentionally walking him to load the bases and take your chances with Sam McGarry and try to get a double play?
You know, you pointed out the fact that the two brothers are so similar in batting average and everything like that. So I don't see that as an advantage unless you're going for the double play.
Yeah, that is literally the only reason that you would do that. And you got to wonder, you know, Landon Hernandez is the assistant coach on this team. Russell Hart coming out there. You know it's Tom McGarry, who's certainly a respected batter. That had to be in the discussion points between those two players right there.
And you look at Tom and Sam and you think they're typical slow, big hitting, but they're not slow. They can sort of beat out double plays and things like that. So I'd go for it.
Yeah, it's an intentional walk.
Wow.
And that is it. I mean, it's a risky play either way. It's a risk to pitch to him. It's a risk to put him on first base. Identical batting average. In fact, Sam has a 369 average. His brother Tom had 368. So, you know.
So Tom's a bit slack.
Yeah. So bases are loaded, one out, but the double play ball in effect.
The trouble is that the fielders are off the base. So the runners have got a good lead, which...
And a first pitch swing. It's in shallow left field territory. Yanazawa moves on and makes the play. And there's your answer to whether it was a good decision. It was always going to be answered in hindsight, and it was probably the right call. The bases are still loaded.
And I believe that was an infield fly, so that was automatic out. And it was just a pop-up. And
first pitch swing, though.
Well, you know, when you look at the intentional walk now, it worked.
It worked.
It worked. And, you know,
Are you surprised that McGarry didn't take a couple more pitches? Try to force something?
No, I mean, the thing is, you're in a situation where he was going for a fly ball in the outfield, sacrifice fly to get a run in. He only wants one run.
Well, Tyrone Hambley, he has a single already in this game.
Dangerous hitter, very dangerous hitter.
The coach can do some damage. It's over to third, and it goes off the glove of Bull. He has to chase after it. A run will score, and West Torrens are in front. Hernandez, a little show of frustration after that, but here's a look at the replay. Charging on was Bull. It goes off the glove. And Landon, that expression says it all. Hernandez worked himself into a little bit of trouble with runners getting on, but with bases loaded, one out, Hernandez did everything. He got two shallow pop-ups and a ground ball.
That's baseball. Baseball is a different story in every game. And there's a situation where if he grabbed the ball and got the out, the momentum would have been with Henley.
3-2 West Torrens now. Although bases loaded, or runners on second and third, one out, and both the McGarry brothers and Hambley coming up. If they can get out of this just allowing one run, it's still probably a mini win you can find for Henley&Grange, saying it could be worse, but West Torrens will gladly seize the lead. Nico Vanderlinden. 1-for-2 on the day. Takes a pitch again. So a third lead change in this game. Compelling contest. Kind of scooped over towards second base. Garbella makes the play, but a couple sloppy moments in the field for Henley&Grange. It started off with probably that play where Nick George reached. And then again on that play, well, it was a tough play for Liam Bull and his defense charging in like that.
Look, it was, you know. And I look at Southern Districts when they played Henley in the first week, and they won the first game. And in the second game, they were leading by a run and 2 out for Henley, and they hit the ball down the third baseline, and it hit the dirt and skipped up, got through. That was a time run. Then they got the walk-off. Jack got the walk-off hit to win the game for Henley, and then Henley won the third game easy. Otherwise, we could have had a whole different scenario for the finals. We wouldn't have these two teams playing against each other in the grand final. And this play here is similar in regards to that would have been out, no run, 2-all ball game. Baseball's like that, though. There's a different story every game.
Well, it'll be third time through the lineup now in this dangerous part versus Will Corticus for Henley&Grange. There's no signs of any sort of movement in the West Torrens bullpen at all, at least for the time being. But you'd think third time through, a few adjustments being made. Yanazawa, Partington, and Garbella doing up. This is kind of ripe for the picking right now from a Henley&Grange perspective.
Well, you've got to run your game one. You've got to sort of get as many pitches as you can out of your starting pitches, because that'll be then done, you know, for the weekend. And then you look at someone like Partington coming in, throw a couple of innings in each today and tomorrow and Sunday if required. So it's a balancing act, but the key is to get as many pitches out of your first pitcher in game one, so you've got plenty of petrol in the tank for the others that you can utilise a little bit more. It's a strategic move to get the most out of your starting pitcher in game one.
Koki Yanazawa, he's 1 for 2. He had a double his last at-bat. Now, how about the job, though, of Will Corticus? He allowed 2 runs after the first 4 batters of the game, but since then he has settled down very nicely. A few strikeouts on the board. He's got himself out of a couple tricky situations, but Will Corticus has settled down tremendously as we're now in the bottom of the 5th.
He's had a great season, hasn't he? Very surprising.
2.77 ERA this year. That's his best year as a starter. He led the team in innings pitched.
He was always number 2, number 3 over the last couple of years for West Torrens, but he's almost like their number 1 now.
Yeah, he's become their ace, and I think that's what's been the nice, pleasant surprise, is that Corticus has now become that kind of pitcher that everyone thought that he could be, in allowing a sub-3 ERA, winning some big games. Only a 1.1 whip. The walks are down. He was tremendous in the juniors coming up, but then he had that arm injury. It took a season or 2 to recover from that, but we're really seeing that velocity back up with Will Corticus, and he's solidified himself as one of the best arms in the South Australian competition.
He's a country boy, isn't he? From Mildura, is it? Or the Riverland, one of those. He's been at West. Just to see the way he's developed. He
was at Woodville and then came to West Torrens.
He's been that pitcher that you don't really think too much about until this season.
Flared up into shallow left field, and at the outskirts of the infield, Nico Vanderlinden makes the play, and it's 1 down.
I think his worst outing this season was last week against Stirling. Gave up 11, 12 hits or something, and that was very surprising. That was the type of performance he would do every now and again last season, season before. But this season, he's been tight every game. Consistency
from Will Corticus, and was part of those under-16, under-18 teams coming through the system that won so many championships. So great to see Will Corticus really settle into his own this season as an ace of a South Australian ball club. One of those players, he transferred over from Woodville to West Torrens, but you figure it's one of those players that Tyrone Hambley certainly identified that talent, saw what he had when he was coaching him in the state rankings, and knew he could trust him in those situations. And then you add another player, which I'm sure we'll see this game, in Masakio Sawada, who's really been that adjustment that West Torrens have made in the middle of the year. But right now, Jack Partington is up to bat. That rides up inside. He's walked and scored, and he's flown out to center field in this game, and he's ahead 2-0 right now.
Jack's the type of guy who he'll get on base and he'll run ragged and he can win your game, but sometimes he gets a rush of blood and gets out at crucial times as well. So he's that excitement machine, isn't he, the way he plays?
And it hits him. So a dangerous base runner is aboard. Partington's heads up base running that advanced him to third in the first inning, scored a run to tie the game at 1 at the time, and now he's standing on first. And Tyrone Hambley is just going to take a quick moment to chat to Will Corticus and settle him down, knowing that Giovanni Garbella and Landon Hernandez are due up.
Now, last time when Pardo came up, he flew out to centre field, but Coker was on second base, and he didn't take that extra base, and in the end it cost him after Hernandez got the hit. This is where Henley will learn from that, and they'll use Pardo's speed to move around the bases and put him in a scoring position. In my opinion, that's what Henley need to do to get that run back. They really need to use the pace, but they've got to pick their moment. And this is where the excitement machine in Jack Partington can either do the job or not get the timing right.
Well, Garbella hitting .460 with runners in scoring position this year. That's above his tremendous average of .402 this season. He won the batting title in the South Australian State League, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. Now he's got the speedy Partington at first. He takes a lengthy lead as Tom McGarry tries to check him.
It looked like it was almost going to go then, didn't it?
We'll see if he does go. He took a big lead. Does he test the arm of McGarry and try to put himself in scoring position, or does he try to let Garbella do the work and drive something to the outfield and find a gap?
You know, Tom's a great catcher, but throwing runners out at second, he's not the best in the league, whereas Pardo's one of the best base stealers in the league. I would definitely run him.
Partington led the competition in stolen bases this year. He's got 27 to his name.
Maybe this time, no.
Pitch on the outside, and it's a 3-0 count to Garbella. Just like last time he faced Garbella, he was behind 3-0, Will Corticus, and he came back and he struck him out with a runner in scoring position. We'll see if the bat stays on the shoulder, or does he swing 3-0. Rides up a little bit, just catches the inside edge of the plate. It's a hitter's count at 3-1.
I'm going to make no prediction here with him because he come back to bite me last time. He's going to go. No, yep.
There he goes. McGarry with a throw and
yes,
sliding in safe.
And
it's a walk for Garbella anyways.
Oh.
They were questioning that.
It would have been interesting if the umpire had called him out, and then he would have had to reverse it because of the walk.
Well, it was outside as Partington slid in easily. It won't be a stolen base. It will be runners, though, on first and second for Landon Hernandez, and Hernandez has 2 hits, both slashed hard on a line and low to left field, right in between third and short.
So do you still Pardo now? This is a hard one, isn't it? You don't want to take the bat out of Landon's hands.
Yeah, I think
but,
you leave him at second here and you let Landon try to drive in a ball, and maybe you get a good bit aggressive. If you're going to be aggressive, I think it's aggressive sending him from third to send him home. Hernandez and Bull both could have cracks at it, provided there's no double play. Hernandez chops one to center field.
Is he going to go? Is he going to tag up?
Caught and tagging is Partington, hustling over towards third. Both the runners go.
Now that's exactly what I was saying with Koki in when Partington bat last time got a fly 8, and Koki didn't go to third, and I thought that cost him the run. Well, this time Pardo held up on the base, and he went and stole third. That's going to give them a good scoring opportunity now.
Well, Liam Bolt grew up around this Henley&Grange club. He's known no other club in his career. He's only 20 years old. Gave them the lead in the first inning at the time to put Henley up 2-1. Now he's got 2 runners in scoring position here in the 5th, trying to push them ahead. Jammed over towards Nick George. He's got to charge onto it, getting called off at short as Nico Vanderlinden, and another bend but don't break inning from West Torrens. After 5, they've got a 3-2 lead. It's game one of the Hilltop Office Supply State League Championship Series. We'll be back after this.
Hilltop Office Supplies are here to provide you with all your stationery, sanitary products and office equipment. We are a local business servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.
Back at the ballpark, we've played 5 innings so far. It is a 3-2 lead for West Torrens. West Torrens scored the first run of the game. Nick George swung on the first pitch, had a double later, scored. Henley&Grange responded with 2 in the first. Giovanni Garbella and Liam Bull. Liam Bull on a bunt, made it a 2-1 game. Mitch Neuenborn with a home run in the second, tied the game up at 2. And then in the last inning, they loaded the bases, West Torrens did. They had runner on second and third and no outs. They ended up scoring just 1 run, but it was enough to take the lead, and now Neuenborn will lead things off here with Eric Ballnar and Robert Laidlaw here at Bennett Field on beautiful Ghana land. West Torrens now getting close to working a 4th time through. This is the 7-8-9 batters, though, as Neuenborn swings through the pitch.
Now you look at the way the wind's coming in today. This is typical of West Beach, isn't it? And that's why you're not going to see too many home runs.
There is a little bit of a stream sometimes, as we've seen in Giants games and club games, that when the ball gets towards that stream heading down the right field line, it just sort of pushes it over the edge, and that's what happened with Mitch Neuenborn on a very good hacky that he had in the second inning.
And left field sometimes it seems to sort of curl around, and if you hit that sweet spot with the wind, into the wind.
Neuenborn, Vanderlinden, and Clark due up. 7-8-9 have certainly produced today for West Torrens. They've accounted for 2 of the 3 runs.
You know, if this goes into the 8th and West Torrens are still leading, they might use Mitch as a relief pitcher.
Well, he's going to strike out there. He doesn't love the call. He at least asked a couple questions, but he's going down as his 2nd strikeout of the day. It's Landon's 4th strikeout of his outing, and that's just a good pitch that just hung in that zone and sort of buckled Mitch Neuenborn. Certainly a quick worker is Landon Hernandez, isn't he?
Yeah, now Nathan Vanderlinden's played with injuries this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been battling a little bit, but he's a tough and gritty player. We've seen that over the last couple seasons.
And then, of course, his brother, Nico, he had a slow start to the season with work commitments as well.
Both the Vanderlinden brothers have been such key parts of this West Torrens baseball club. Both of them, they come from families with different backgrounds. They lived in the Middle East at one time, and they moved to Australia when Nathan and Nico, I think, were 12 and 10, and they both joined West Torrens Baseball Club. That's all they've ever known.
I remember when they were first started out in Division 1, they were a little bit wild and woolly, the way they sort of played, a little bit inconsistent, but as they've got older, they've matured, and they've been important parts of this team.
Vanderlinden over towards left field. Travaskis makes the play, 2 down. Big fan club for Luke Travaskis in the crowd. So that's 2 down. But both the Vanderlinden boys have delivered a couple championships to this team. They've been regular parts of the program. Nathan has spent a few seasons in the Australian Baseball League and played college overseas. Jasper Clark His third time up, he's 1 for 2. He scored in the last inning. He led off the 5th inning with a hit, and then later came around to score. And right now it's the go-ahead run here in Game 1 of the championship series. And I think that hit him. And now I know it hit him. Just 4 hit batters on the season for Landon Hernandez entering this game, and now a base runner once again for Henley&Grange as Nick George comes up to bat.
What do you reckon, a bunt?
Well, there's 2 outs, so I would say no. Nick George wasted no time in the first inning turning on a pitch that was hanging in the zone. He doubled and later scored.
I'm just looking how deep Bully is and how fast George is. If he can hit it right down that line, he'll be safe easy.
That's a good point. Nick George last year led the competition in stolen bases. Hasn't been on base as much this season. He's only got the 12 stolen bases. He's hitting 179, but he's got a 338 on base percentage. So even when he's not hitting, he's working some patient at-bats and finding ways to get on base.
He's another one that was injured for a large part of the season too, wasn't he?
Missed a chunk of games, yes. So injuries this season, especially in that first half, injuries, you had a departure to Matt Stagg, inconsistencies in the lineup made it tough for West Torrens to find their groove early on. But in the second half of the season, they got healthy, they regained some confidence, they found their role, and then the addition of Sawada to eat a few key innings late in the year, and it resulted in a massive win streak, and they've won 19 of 21 entering this game. And another hit batter that just slipped out of Hernandez's hands, and Nick George will head to first base.
So how many batters has he hit today?
He's hit 2 batters today. He's walked 3 total.
Wow. When you compare that to the season totals,
4, yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So a couple free bases. It was looking a rather innocent inning, but now all of a sudden 2 runners are on, and Jacob Scott comes to the plate.
Tell you, that one would have hurt.
Yeah, that was a fastball that got him.
You know, it's funny watching Jacob Scott and, of course, his dad, Andrew Scott, tremendous player, obviously MVP of the ABL back in '97. And I can still remember playing against his grandfather, Brian, who played for West Torrens as well.
3 generations of Scotts, and all 3 generations have delivered premierships to their club. Swing and a miss. Jacob Scott tips that one away. Scott, McGarry, and McGarry due up. He's behind 0-2, Jacob Scott. This is his 4th time facing Hernandez. He bunted the runner over to third in his first at-bat. And he goes up the middle. It's a base hit for Jacob Scott. Runner is being held up, and the bases are loaded for the 2nd straight inning.
It would have been cold at home if he'd gone.
So the bases are loaded for Tom McGarry. They intentionally walked him his last at-bat. That was with runners on 2nd and 3rd.
This could be lights out for Henley if Tom wants to put one over the fence.
He's a dangerous batter, hitting .368 this year. Leads all West Torrens players in on-base plus slugging percentage, or OPS, with a .1267 mark. It's better by almost 200 points.
You know, it hardly seems like a fortnight goes by without one of the McGarrys hitting a home run.
And he swings at a pitch. They couldn't make the play. It lands in center field. 1 run is scored. George held up at 3rd, and the RBI king for West Torrens. And Tom McGarry has extended the lead.
Sam won't be happy. He'll be trying to get a hit to equal his brother, won't he?
Well, both of the McGarrys now have RBIs on the game.
Yeah, Sam had the sac fly, didn't he?
Well, Sam, yeah, it was the last inning where Sam McGarry came up to bat. Yeah, he did. He had the sac fly back in the first inning.
Innings, yeah.
So both McGarrys driving in runs. What else is new? And now it's a 4-2 game. Bases were empty with 2 outs, and then 2 hits and 2 hit batters and 2 hits up the middle have now put West Torrens up 4-2, and this now has the potential to be a getaway inning with Sam McGarry up to bat.
And the way Sam reacted to that pitch, that was almost another hit by pitch ball.
1-1 count to Sam McGarry. Well, he was looking for the big punch.
Yeah, he got fooled on that one, didn't he? He was expecting a faster pitch.
1-2 count. Huge pitch here for Landon Hernandez. Strikeout. Hernandez gets him looking. It's his 5th strikeout of the day. Keeps it a 4-2 ball game. And, well, Henley&Grange, they've allowed 2 runs their last 2 innings, but West Torrens have left 6 runners on base during that time.
But Henley have left runners on base as well, but you just get this feeling the game's starting to slip out of the Rams' sort of sights a little bit, so they've got to get something going here.
Yeah, well, 8 runners left on base for West Torrens, 6 in the last inning, and then from the Rams' perspective, they left 2 on in the 5th, 2 on in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, and 1 in the 1st. So that's 6 runners left on total, but they pressured all but the 2nd inning, where it was a 1-2-3 inning. But Will Corticus heading back out there. There is some movement now and a player warming up in the West Torrens bullpen. So while Will Corticus is facing this Henley&Grange lineup for a 3rd time, it doesn't appear that he will get the opportunity to face it for the 4th time. Robert, I would suggest that he gets out of this inning before they turn off the lineup and he would be done for the game, or a couple runners get on and they take him out for the game. So,
but what's his pitch count? That's what I'd like to know. I mean, if his pitch count's around about 70 or 80, I reckon they'd probably still leave him in. I understand about going around the 4th time, but you've got to sort of like the pitch counts. I mean, has he gone over the amount so he can't pitch another game?
Yeah, I think he would have at this point. He would be well over 65.
So, what I'd sort of play it by ear, and if you get through this innings relatively unscathed, I'd still go with him.
Yeah, it's just going to be game management, I suppose. We'll have to see what happens. It's Griff Weber, Jet Clohessy, and Luke Travaskis due up.
So you're heading into the bottom of the lineup, but he's such a tremendous kid. And I've seen games where he doesn't seem to slow down. He seems to be able to control the opposition batters right through to like the 7th or 8th innings.
Well, he allowed those 2 runs in the 1st inning, and it's been nothing since then for Will Corticus. If they can get him through 6 with a lead and turn it over to Sawada to try to cement the win, that would be sort of the recipe West Torrens were looking for at the start of the game.
And the way Sawada pitches with that almost underarm sort of coming at you, the batters, with the lights, that's something they haven't experienced.
Driven over to center right field, diving on, and it drops in front of Nathan Vanderlinden. Almost a spectacular play, but Griff Weber gets the leadoff runner on.
Now, if Jet's a big fella, he can hit a home run. He's a left-hander, if he sort of gets it out there towards the scoreboard, who knows? It could be a tied ball game.
Had a hit in his last at-bat. Another one of those lifelong Rams, Jet Clohessy. He's played with
T-ball, right through.
T-ball right through. Been winning premierships for Henley&Grange from juniors and now trying to do it at the top level. He did it at Division II last year. Can he do it at this point?
Who knows? That's a big question, isn't it? Who's going to win? Is it going to be back-to-back for West Torrens or a long drought broken for Henley?
Clohessy goes after a pitch. It was tailing to the inside, but he fouls it away. Corticus in a favorable position, 0-2.
We've seen a few droughts broken recently with the softball girls last year and the Giants this year. So who knows?
Pitch on the inside. It's got a bit cold down here at West Beach. People putting on their toques and their jackets all around the ballpark. Robert Laidlaw wearing sandals and shorts next to me like he's never been to West Beach before. First time? Clohessy jammed well up in the air, moving into foul territory as Jacob Scott had to make an adjustment, but he makes the play.
Almost a Willie Mays catch, eh?
Oh.
Willie Mays used to do that occasionally, you know, catch the ball like that.
Well, it is swirling up there. You see the adjustment that Jacob Scott had to make. And you see the whew.
It wasn't by design.
Luke Travaskis flew out to left field last time he was up to bat. Swings at the first pitch once again. It is straight up in the air. Scott makes the play, 2 down. Well, they've got base runners on early in innings, Henley&Grange, but they haven't been able to do anything with them.
You know, what was he trying to do? Was he trying to go for a big hit? I mean, a kid like that, take a pitch, maybe look for, you know, punching the ball rather than the big hit, because he's, with this win, it's a trap for guys like that, the way they bat.
Well, a great performance here for Will Corticus. A bend but don't break performance. He's scattered a few hits on the day. 6 hits, a hit by pitch, a walk, a couple runs. He's got 4 strikeouts to his name. Solid across the board for Corticus. Up the middle again, and Corticus makes the play. He's through 6. Well, if that is the end of Will Corticus's day, he might get another one. We'll find out. It's been tremendous. Allows the first base runner, then he goes 1, 2, 3. We've played 6. It's a 4-2 lead. We'll be back after this.
Oceanic is a family-owned and operated restaurant and event space down at West Beach. We came together always knowing that we wanted to do something with family, and here we are, focusing very heavily on sustainable and fresh produce, and we're very proud of that.
Our point of difference is genuine hospitality and passion for what we do. We truly love and believe in what we do and enjoy delivering fantastic service to our customers. And we recently were awarded with 2 awards, Best Breakfast Restaurant in Adelaide and Best Contemporary Informal Dining in Adelaide, which we're thrilled to receive.
We pride ourselves on giving people an experience from the moment they walk in the door. We're a family business, and everybody that comes through the door is entering our family.
Be sure to check our website www.oceanic.com.au for our new opening hours and to make bookings in regards to the restaurant and functions.
Back at the ballpark, an entertaining game number 1 of this championship series. Eric Ballner, Robert Laidlaw getting the last-minute call-up into the broadcast booth. The call to the bullpen, quite literally in the middle of the game. One of the premier storytellers of Australian baseball, Robert Laidlaw. Make sure you follow his page at Play Ball, all things baseball and softball. You get nearly daily reports, well, certainly game day reports of all the game day action of baseball and softball. So, Robert, the softball finals are on. Do you have a tip for that, by the way, of who's going to take that home? We're down to 3 teams.
Yeah, look, I've got a feeling that with Steph Jasinski pitching, West Torrens might be too good for Sturt tomorrow. Although Sturt beat West Torrens 1-0 last week in the last minor round game. And Grauer Joanna Grauer pitching for Port Adelaide. They're a different team with her pitching.
Yeah, and Grauer's only played 12 games this season, but when she plays and Port Adelaide are full strength, they're a completely different monster, and you saw the power of Grauer as Tyrone Hambley leads things off. What a big swing that was. You saw the power of Grauer in the elimination final on Wednesday, a one-hit complete game shutout in a 2-0 win, and she had to be that way because the breakout star of the softball season, Michaela Yankovic, was excellent.
Yeah, and
so if you're looking for something to do tomorrow, I would really suggest coming down here and
2
watching
o'clock.
it. You can come down even earlier. You can watch the Division III Grand Final, and then maybe move over and watch the Division II or the softball A grade, the qualifying final. As Hambley jammed over to right field. This is going to be an awkward one. It could drop a diving on, and did he make the play? No, it just dropped in as Tyrone Hambley will stand on first.
Gee, that was a tough get, but I've seen Phil Costas take those. He maybe the lights and the conditions just changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, it was a good effort. You see him making the charge on here and sliding in was close.
He took one like that last week.
Just to finish up the point before, you got 2 o'clock, you got the qualifying final, and then by the time that game's over, you should be able to get the end of, on this field, the Div 2 Grand Final, and then not long after that, we'll start the Game 2 of this championship series.
6:30 tomorrow night.
Yep, the winner of this game will have a chance to win it.
Yeah.
So it will be a fun day for local competition tomorrow. Nico Vanderlinden stands in. Runner on first. Vanderlinden swings at a pitch. Got some velocity, though. You know Henley&Grange need Landon Hernandez to go deep in the game. He's got into the 7th, but he can't have that many more pitches left in him, can he? Do you have Game Changer up on you?
No, yeah, I can have a look.
You can see how many pitches he's up to. It doesn't look from this angle where we can see like there's anyone in the bullpen. Pitch down in the dirt, and now Tyrone Hambley will slide into second. Slide, big man, slide. That gets the dugout fired up from West Torrens as Tyrone Hambley. He's known for his base running, Tyrone. He slides in there to second base. And the dugout erupted for West Torrens as he's in scoring position now. The crowd loving it. Vanderlinden goes up the middle, and that would have been a double play ball. Instead, it's just one out. And Robert, there's the example of some of those fundamentals. You have the pass ball from Griffin Weber on the pitch before that advances the runner to second, and now it's a runner on third, and a sacrifice fly would probably give them a 3-run lead.
Game of inches. A little bit of luck here, a little bit of luck there. Baseball's, like I said, it's a different story. Every game, every innings, every at-bat.
Mitch Neuenborn up to bat. He's got the home run and 2 strikeouts, and he has a big swing there versus Landon Hernandez. So it's an 0-1 count. Great day at the ballpark here. West Torrens have had the bases loaded rather on the last 2 innings. They've left 8 runners on in the day, but they scored 4 runs. Neuenborn over to third. They're going to try to get the run down with Tyrone Hambley. Hambley tagged out as home as he bumps into his former teammate in Griffin Weber. Neuenborn will head to first on the fielder's choice, but the runner is retired. Hernandez now up to 112 pitches, by the way, with the great work done from Robert Laidlaw. Nathan Vanderlinden steps up to bat. So his day will be coming, what's the pitch count, 125?
Yeah,
130.
yes, 125. 125. It's 135 for the weekend, I think, or they change the rules so often.
Will Corticus sitting at 100, so he could go for another inning. It just depends strategically if they want one. You can see Sawada warming up in the bullpen, but it would be a 9-out save in that situation. You'd think maybe they roll with Corticus into the first signs of trouble.
Yeah, that's what I think so, but you've got to be very conservative with Sawada because you want to have him available for every possible game. You can't, if he pitches so many pitches today and tomorrow, he may not be available on Sunday if they need him. So you can't just presume you're going to win it in 2.
Nathan van der Linden wins the 2016 Championship Series MVP for his performance, both with the bat and on the mound. He's a two-way player. Hernandez still grinding away, but some big defense is just taking away a run, keeping it a 4-2 game, and they have the most dangerous part of their lineup due up in the bottom of the 7th.
So this is probably Landon's last innings, and they may use Jack Partington, I'm not sure.
Yeah, if there's no one in the bullpen, that is probably what it would suggest. But ideally, they would chop one over towards Partington. He'll make the play. It ends the inning. So it's a hold for Hernandez. He's worked 7, the 4 runs allowed so far. The line on Landon Hernandez right now is 7 innings pitched, 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts while delivering 119 pitches now for Landon. So that should be the end of the day for him as we've reached the stretch times. And let's see if Corticus is heading back out on the mound. Yeah, it's a pitching change. So Will Corticus, his day comes to. Do you have the final line on Will Corticus? Will Corticus, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 of them earned, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. That's a very good performance with the 1 earned run from Will Corticus. Really settled down after that first inning especially. Fantastic to see, but they're going to turn it over to the bullpen now in what has been a very handy acquisition in the middle of the season. It will be Masakayo Sawada that will head on the mound, I believe. And he has been tremendous this season.
And you know, I don't need a calculator to tell you that Will Corticus, of his pitches, 66% of them were strikes.
Wow.
And do you know why that's easy for me to say?
He only threw 100 pitches? Am I on the money with that?
Yes, you are.
Well, there's a little correlation to when West Torrens started to go on their run, isn't there? It was when this gentleman joined the club.
Yes.
Out of Japan, Masakayo Sawada, who is just a workhorse. He can pitch every day if required. He joined the club just after Christmas. The team was 5-6-1 at the time, and now they've ripped off 19 of their last 21 games, including their last 9 in a row, as Sawada comes in the game to face another Japanese player in Koki Yanazawa.
Wow, he's pitching over the top. When I saw him when he first came out, he was more almost like a submarine pitcher.
Sawada in his 56 2/3 innings pitched this season. Started 7 of those games, played in 14 of them, used in all kinds of roles. He's got the 3.49 ERA, but impressively 74 strikeouts in the 56 innings pitched. So he's certainly a swing and miss kind of pitcher.
He comes at different angles in that sort of...
And he gets Koki Yanazawa to start the 7th.
Koki hasn't been as effective in the finals as he has all season. He's been a tremendous batter for them this year.
Well, now the tricky part of the lineup with Partington and Garbella due up. Both of those 2 players have scored. So you'd figure Sawada would come in if he can get through them efficiently. try to use him on both of the days.
And the third day for required.
This is the way games are being managed, though, is that Sawada, even if the game plan from Tyrone Hambley isn't to pitch all 3 innings, if you need him to pitch at some point, it's against Yanazawa, Partington, Garbella, and Hernandez. That's the part of the lineup that can do the damage. So when you're looking in your bullpen, this may not be the 9th inning, but it's the highest leverage moment of the game with the most dangerous players up to bat. It's shown a little change in baseball thinking now compared to maybe what it was even 15, 20 years ago, that in the past you save Sawada for the 9th inning, it doesn't matter who comes up to bat, but now you look at the lineup, you see the danger, and you say, we need Sawada to go now.
The advantage West Torrens has got is they got like 5 pitchers. So they can sort of do that. I mean, if you look at Henley&Grange, and they've only got really the 2 aces in Hernandez and Gross, and then they need guys like Partington and Geordie Hodges and people like that. So it's an advantage.
Swing and a miss. Sawada's got 2 striking out to start the inning.
It's an advantage that West Torrens has, that they can bring Sawada in to face the meat of the lineup and then go with someone like Large or one of their other pitchers, Snellgrove or someone like that, whereas Henley doesn't have that depth in the pitching.
You'd figure Jared Large would likely be the starting pitcher tomorrow.
Maybe.
Could also be Nathan Vanderlinden. Could also be, it's a little cloudy on what Mitch Neuenborn's availability is to pitch after his World Baseball Classic stint, but if everybody was all systems go and you wanted to choose anybody, maybe in the entire country, of every single Australian pitcher available, no matter what state, at any level, ABL or club ball, you'd probably want Mitch Neuenborn to pitch.
I agree, but I reckon Nathan Vanderlinden might start tomorrow night.
I think even for Tyrone Hambley, it could be a let's wait and see how game 1 goes and who we have to use. There was always going to be a scenario where if West Torrens won big or lost big, if Sawada wasn't used, he could have been used as a starter tomorrow. Obviously, that won't be the case anymore.
He'd want to win it in 2, so I think his best chance, in his view, would be Nathan. If Nathan gives him 5 or 6 solid innings, and then they can bring in Sawada for a couple, and then maybe finish with Mitch Neuenborn tomorrow. That's if it goes that far.
Well, first they have to finish this game, and right now, Landon Hernandez, who's swung a hot bat, he's 2 for 3. There's a runner on first. He's got the bat in the hand, and a swing of the bat ties this game, and he swings the first pitch. But Nick George underneath it, he'll stand, he'll make the play. Sawada, a well-pitched inning, gets through a tricky part of the lineup. It's a 4-2 game. We've played 7. We'll be back.
I'm interested.
Guys, I'm Jez and this is Mark from Peak 24. If you're looking to get fitter, stronger, healthier, give us a call and come see us at
149 Marion Road, Richmond, or you can see us on Facebook, Instagram, and we'll get back to you real soon, or via our website, peak24.com.au. Hope to see you soon.
Landon Hernandez back out on the mound. Workhorse working now into his 8th inning, and that's key. They don't have the same pitching depth, Henley&Grange, as West Torrens do. The pitch rules, 150 pitches are allowed over a weekend, 60 in and outing if you want to use them on back-to-back games or again over the weekend.
But how
Once
much
you pitch,
one game?
I think it's 135.
135. It's unusual because they change.
I'll find
pitch
out for you
counts.
right now.
Yeah.
125.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
125 because why would you change a one-game pitch count when since Christmas it's been 125? It's 105 before Christmas
Yeah.
and 125 after Christmas.
So Landon Hernandez comes out again. He's got 6 pitches remaining. Tyrone Hambley will know that. I'm sure as Jasper Clark comes up to bat, he will take a few pitches. Would you get that instruction from a manager to a coach, or as he swings away at 1 foul?
They may not be aware of it. They should be, but just play your normal game. I mean, you're winning. You're 4-2 up.
And you've had bases loaded and been threatening in almost every inning. Hambley was tagged out at home in the last inning. And a quick 3-pitch strikeout from Landon Hernandez.
And, you know, he just has to be on 124.
Well, he's on 122 now.
So
if he could get out in 2 pitches here.
He can go one more. You can go over 125 as long as it's you haven't reached 125 by that last batter.
So if Nick George really wanted Landon Hernandez out of the game, he could just leave the bat on the shoulder, take a 3-pitch strikeout, and that's the end of Hernandez. I don't think that will happen. In fact, he'll swing at the first pitch. That one's in foul territory. Clohessy having a look. That one slips foul.
A long way foul.
Jacob Scott due up after that. Nick George on the very first pitch of the game turned on one, sent a double down the left field line, and later scored to set the tempo for West Torrens. Henley&Grange quickly took a 2-1 lead immediately following. Neuenborn tied it in the second to make it 2-2. And then while loading the bases in both the 5th and the 6th inning, Henley&Grange scored 1 in each of those to take a 4-2 lead, or West Torrens rather did, to take a 4-2 lead, and that's where we're at right now. Well, this will be the last batter for Landon Hernandez no matter what happens here, as it's now a 2-1 count.
Yeah.
Hernandez has worked 7 1/3.
So obviously they're going to bring in Partington.
Well,
can you see anyone?
Yeah, I
warming
think it looks like there's some movement. So it might be Jordy Hodges.
I would have thought they'd keep Jordy in case he needs to start, like game 2 or game 3.
I'm not too sure. It's tough to see on the angle that we have. There's a bit of a block. It could be Partington. You all right? This one up the middle, over towards Garbella. He gets down, makes the play, and that'll end it for Landon Hernandez. 7 2/3 innings, and Hernandez with the ball as Russell Hart will walk out to the mound. And Landon Hernandez, his pitching season is done. The pitcher of the year entered the game with some tremendous numbers. A 1.61 ERA, an 0.77 whip, just 11 walks, a 13-0 record, 103 strikeouts. Again in the top 5 in the Caps medal voting, as he will head to first base and take over for Jet Clohessy. Landon Hernandez, an absolutely phenomenal season once again. I mean, what can you say about what Landon Hernandez has done this year as his pitching season comes to an end?
Could this be his only loss for the season?
Well, he'd be the pitcher of record right now.
Yes. But then again, he was through the finals as well, but Henley got up and won to keep his undefeated record. But yeah, it's anyone's game still, but you've got to say the odds are stacked in West Torrens' favour with the 2-run lead at this late in the game.
So there'll be a couple changes here because you're not taking the bat of Landon Hernandez out of the lineup, are you? He's going to go to first base, you would think.
And then they'll probably put Clohessy out there
in left field, or they'll make a couple shifts. Well,
looks like he's going to second base.
Well, it might be Garbella coming in the game. It looks like Jack Partington has come in to pitch. The numbers on Jack Partington: 14 2/3. He's pitched in 8 games. He's got a 2-1 record. Partington has been effective. He's only allowed 1 run in the 14 2/3, a 0.614 ERA, and 0.86 whip. Not a pitcher by trade, but he can do both. And Partington, that multifaceted player, will come in to the game in relief.
And he's got a win and a loss in the finals as well.
Hernandez will stay in the game. Garbella standing at second. So Hernandez will go to first. The question is, who's the center fielder going to be right now?
Looks like Clohessy might be out there.
Yeah, he won't be center field, though. Clohessy standing right out there next to Travaskis. And Giovanni Garbella running out there.
So Giovanni will go to center field.
Yeah.
Clohessy will go to right.
And Acosta to second. It looks like. No.
No.
Is that Hodges? At second? Pitch down in the dirt. That one slips away. So Clohessy, they'll keep his bat in the game over at right. Garbella at center and at second base. As this one fouled straight back. It looks like, or did Luke Travaskis move to second base?
It doesn't look like Luke, does it?
We'll see if we can get a shot in camera of the second baseman in a second, as this is grounded over to Koki Yanazawa. Makes the play across the diamond. His players playing a few different positions, and that will end the inning. But it is still a 4-2 lead, and time is starting to run out. But this is what Russell Hart talked about. Henley&Grange dropped the last 2 games of the season. Now, the minor premiership was already decided at that point. Henley&Grange had been looking like the minor premiers for a long time, really since Christmas, to be honest. Now, they played a few different players in a few different positions to try to add that flexibility, saying in a championship series, when you're playing 3 games in 3 days, there's a lot of different changes. Pitching comes in there. Players need to play different positions, and that's exactly what we've seen right now.
So it was quite smart coaching. I mean, they cost them a couple of games, but they're
the games that didn't matter.
No, and they've gained a little bit of flexibility.
So it is Jordan Hodges that has come into the game, and he is at second base. So the official swap was Hodges in for Acosta, and then as Hodges off the bench, Acosta out of the game. Landon Hernandez moves from pitcher to first base. The first base, Clohessy, moves to second base.
No, to right field.
To right field, yep. And then from second base, Garbella swaps with Partington, and Partington then goes to pitch.
Yes.
There's a few swaps in there. So Sawada back on the mound. Liam Bolt leads things off. It'll be Bolt, Weber, and Clohessy. That ball slips away. The pitch count that will be on everyone's mind will be 60 for Sawada, although in the bullpen right now there is some action. And a swing jammed a little bit, ranging over in center field is Jasper Clark, called off by Nick George. And Nick George, who's been busy tonight over at left field, makes another play. 1 down here in the 8th in a 4-2 ball game.
I was just thinking, this is typical of West Beach with the wind blowing in. There's a lot of fly balls out to left field, center field, shortstop type area. And again, that's what's happening tonight.
Well, another close game that West Torrens is in. And I say that because they're 19-2 over their last 21 games. Of their 19 wins, 11 of them have been decided by 2 runs or less. So while West Torrens is, what a great pitch there, a complete off speed by Sawada.
He's done that a couple of times, and he pitches from different angles, he pitches different speeds. He's such a valuable pitcher to come in like that.
Pitch goes up high, tried the fastball. It's a 1-2 count.
You know, I remember when he first came out, I saw the first game he pitched for West Torrens, and he was like a submarine pitcher. So obviously that hasn't worked for him, so he's gone back to just a traditional way of pitching.
Fouled away, brings the count full.
Of course, Japanese baseball are famous for their submarine pitches and their bunting type game, in contrast to the way Major League Baseball's played. They've got a different style of playing the game.
Yeah, you're right, so much different style, bunts, using the game of speed, but then you saw the World Baseball Classic final and all the runs were scored via the long ball, go figure, in a powerful pitching performance.
Well, they were facing the USA, who
hit up the middle, scooped up by Vanderland, and he stumbled a little bit, still makes the play, 2 down. Sawada's got this thing on lockdown right now.
Japan were playing America and they beat them at their own game, basically, didn't they? The American game is get a couple of runners on base and hit a 3-run bomb. That's kind of the traditional way that Major League Baseball sort of likes to play their game when they go for the big hit.
Yeah. Ungrounded once again to Vanderland, and he makes the play. A quick inning for Sawada again. And we head to the 9th. West Torrens 3 outs away. We'll take our final break and be back with the 9th inning.
Hilltop Office Supplies are here to provide you with all your stationery, sanitary products and office equipment. We are a local business servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.
Back at the ballpark, 9th inning. West Torrens lead 4-2. They're looking to go back-to-back. This is game 1 of a best-of-3 series. Nick George led things off with a double on the first pitch, later scored. Then Henley&Grange scored their only 2 runs in the game. In response, RBIs to Garbella and Liam Bull made it a 2-1 lead. Mitch Neuenborn's solo shot tied the game up at 2. Henley&Grange loaded the bases in the 5th and the 6th. They were able to score 1 run in each of those innings to make it a 4-2 game. Landon Hernandez went deep in the game. He allowed 3 earned runs. Will Corticus just outdueled him though. 1 earned run, 2 runs allowed total. He left the game and handed it over to Sawada, who's only allowed, well, nothing since he came in over the last 2 innings. Jack Partington got 1 out in the 8th after a slew of changes. They're now in the 9th. It'll be an important hold for Jack Partington in the middle of the lineup of Tom McGarry, Sam McGarry, and Tyrone Hambley up to bat. Eric Balnar on the call. Robert Laidlaw joining me as well. Baseball journalist, baseball historian, baseball administrator, baseball player, a little bit of everything, and it's a base hit for Tom McGarry to lead things off, and that's something that they've done very well in this game, West Torrens. They've got the leadoff runner now on 6 of their 9 innings.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. And how important are the McGarry brothers? Like we were talking about that beforehand, but in this game, they've just quietly got the job done. A couple of RBIs between them, 3 or 4 hits, sacrifice fly. They're just so important to the makeup of the West Torrens batting lineup.
Well, it's a great way of putting it. A large collection of quiet moments from Tom McGarry in particular has turned into a very loud ball game. He's walked once, he's been hit by a pitch, and he's got 2 hits. So in 5 plate appearances, he's been on base 4 times. He's 2 for 3 on his game. He's been on base 80% of the time. He's got an RBI, and as it stands, that's the game-winning run. So a fantastic performance from Tom McGarry, and Sam McGarry had an RBI on a sac fly in the first inning to score the first run of the game, and he's up to bat right now.
Has he got a hit today?
Sam McGarry has reached on a, yeah, he's got a hit. He's 1 for 4 with a sacrifice fly and an RBI.
So he'll be gunning for his brother here, trying to equal him.
Partington similar to Hernandez in the respect that he fills up the strike zone, doesn't walk a lot of batters, just that one walk over the 14 innings that he's pitched entering this series. So you know you're going to get a strike and something to hit, and someone that relies predominantly on that fastball. Sam McGarry, then Tyrone Hambley due up. That pitch will ride up on the inside.
One of the things about Pardo is I love watching him in the outfield. The ground he makes up and some of the catches he takes, unbelievable. He takes catches only 2 or 3 guys in the league could take.
Interesting to see the slight shift that was employed on Sam McGarry, and now, well, Wes Torrens, who has left 10 base runners on today, now have the first 2 on, and they can try to provide a little bit of a knockout blow with Tyrone Hambley coming up to bat.
You know, Tyrone would be keen on doing the job here, but he might bunt. He might slap the ball to right field. He's that type of batter. He would know that it's not the conditions to hit a home run. So I don't think he's going to hit big.
Yeah, he's showing bunt, that ball on the outside, and I think that is the play. Runner on first and second. You're just looking for that valuable insurance run at this point of the game.
You know, he could be fooling the opposition to come in and then he'll slap the ball to right field. I mean, he's a smart player. He is.
Nico Vanderlyn, another smart player that can drive the ball to the outfield to try to get that sacrifice fly. Hambley showing bunt, lays down the bunt, now a hustle down the line. Partington has a look at second, but job done by Tyrone Hambley, who has had a productive at-bat pretty much every time he's been up today. And now it's runners on second and third with 1 out and Vanderlyn up to plate.
You watch him when he plays first base. When he stands there between pitches, he's such a nervous guy. He is nibbling on his nails all the time. He's thinking. He's thinking. He is thinking, and he's a perfect coach for this team because he's got that demeanour where he's sort of like no one feels under pressure. He takes the pressure himself, and then he performs where he has to perform.
Nico Vanderlyn. He's up to bat, 1 for 4 on the day.
Now, all he'd be trying to do is drive the ball in the outfield. He doesn't care if he gets caught as long as the run scores. That's obviously what he would be thinking now, hey?
Drives a ball to center field right on target. It's caught by Garbella. A throw into the plate. There'll be a play, and it slips away. A run will score. It's now 5-2. The sacrifice done right, and it's breathing room for Wes Torrens. Runner advances to third and Sam McGarry, and that was exactly what the script was. Get runners on, bunt them around, and drive them home. It's the second time Wes Torrens has done that today. It's the 5th RBI from a 5th different player, and Wes Torrens, you know, this is very symptomatic of how they've been so successful the last couple years. They don't have the same superstars and maybe that you have in your Gallaghers at Kensington's or your Garbellas at Henley&Grange, but they 1-9 play as a team. They move guys around, play the game the right way. And
they have all the working parts.
And they use those parts very well as Mitch Neuenborn comes up to bat. Every player in this lineup, Robert, has found a contribution in some way in the game today.
You know, Mitch is probably going to try to hit the other way just to sort of see if he can get another run in.
Just on the outside, it's a 2-0 count. Teammates with the Giants going head-to-head.
Mitch is a good player. He's got some baseball smarts, and he'll know if he hits the ball to left field, it's going to hold up in the air. So he's probably going to aim for right field.
And the ball slips away, and it's going to cost Henley&Grange a run. Wes Torrens now in a commanding position, padding 2 more to the lead. And Neuenborn, who did it with the long ball in the second inning, All he had to do there was take. Gets jammed foul.
It changes the scenario for him now. I mean, he'll be just trying to hit the ball hard. It doesn't really matter. They were after that number 6 run. They've got it. So, yeah, go for broke.
Wow. Now, do you change pitcher? Do you keep Sawada into the game to shut the door with a 4-run lead, or do you go somewhere else now with more breathing room?
Well, he's going to face batters that haven't faced him yet today, so keep him in there.
And this one straight up in the air. It'll be playable in foul territory. Partington decided to take it himself. But 2 crucial runs have crossed the plate for West Torrens, who have just been so tenacious all game. Their batting innings are done unless Henley score 4 here. How would you characterize this batting offensive performance from West Torrens today?
Good team effort. Good team effort. I mean, everyone, as you said, has contributed. I'll tell you something about Mitch batting then. I was watching the way he sort of was very careful, and he was looking to poke the ball to right field. But then once that run scored, he went for it. And as a consequence of that, he popped up and big swing and miss. So, you know, he was going for the lot then because they got the run. You know, 6-2 up, they got it.
And they're going to make a pitching change here. Grabbing the ball, if they wanted to really slow him the door shut, who do you go to? You go to maybe Australia's best pitcher, Mitch Neuenborn, coming into the game with a 4-run lead.
That shocks me, it really does. I would have thought that you hold him back.
Well, he's not going to start tomorrow, I guess.
Well, he might. I mean, I've seen that a lot where in the finals where a pitcher finishes off a game and then starts the next game.
Well, Neuenborn has been good today. He had that patient at bat that helped score a run. He also had the home run. Neuenborn coming off a performance over the last couple months that has been tremendous. He was unbelievable for the Adelaide Giants in the 2023 calendar year in particular. Arguably the best pitcher on the Giants consistently throughout the year. He had his 40 strikeouts in 28 innings. He won that Bob Finn Award over at Caps Medal Night on Wednesday night for the best Australian player on the Adelaide Giants. A fantastic achievement for Mitch Neuenborn. He was rewarded by a World Baseball Classic roster spot. He pitched in 3 games. His best game came against the Czech Republic, where he had those 5 strikeouts. He was used in big situations. He can throw the ball almost harder than anybody in the SABL. Fastball that sits up at 95. And now a pinch hitter as Wiley comes into the game. He was once an import for the Adelaide Bite back in the day. Remember him?
Yeah. But he's not a prominent player anymore. He's only has almost like a curtain call every now and again. He doesn't really feature in the Henley sort of batting lineup.
So Byron Wiley stands in versus Neuenborn, and Neuenborn delivers a first pitch strike. Just a ruthless decision, and that's what you have to do to win the championship from Tyrone Hambley. You put in the best arm, maybe in Australia. I'll call him Australia. I can be biased, can't I? Yep. This is a South Australian call. We work for the Adelaide Giants. He's a Giants pitcher. We work for Team Australia. He was used in a big one. We can say he's Australia's best, right?
Well,
the Aussie ace, Mitch Neuenborn.
You heard it first here by Eric Bellner.
I don't think I was the first to say that one. That one finds the plate. It is a 2-1 count. Here's Byron Wiley. Swing and a miss. It's a strikeout from Neuenborn. He's been doing that against some of the best hitters in the country for a while. And now they're 2 outs away in the world. Jordy Hodges will come up to bat. And just look at that pitch breakaway. So much movement on it. And Neuenborn, you'd think he'd be feeling confident coming after that, his performance at the WBC?
Yeah, well, while you're talking about the World Baseball Classic, how many Giants were involved? Because don't forget, we had
7 players, 2 coaches.
And also, for Great Britain,
Nick Ward.
And even though music didn't play for the Giants, he played for Sturt and he played for the Czech Republic. I mean, the South Australian contingent in the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, it was massive.
It was.
It was massive. Phil Acosta, well, they're up to bat, or not Phil Acosta, sorry, Jordy Hodges came in for Phil Acosta in the last inning, and Nieuwenborn then going upstairs. Nieuwenborn at the World Baseball Classic had exceptionally high whiff rates. That was documented by a leading baseball analyst, and Sam Eads, who's also from South Australia. Swing and a miss again.
Sam Eads or Steve Eads?
Sam Eads.
Sam Eads.
Sam Eads. No relation between the two. Was off playing college baseball and now works in data and analytics in the United States, but 64% whiff rate on some of Mitch Nieuwenborn's stuff. It is pure swing and miss stuff, and he gets them again. Mitch Nieuwenborn is just toying with batters right now. He's got 2 strikeouts, and West Torrens are 1 out away. And take a look at this movement on this pitch, Robert Laidlaw. It is just pure nasty from Nieuwenborn.
Unbelievable. He's a champion, isn't he?
Koki Yanazawa will be one of the tougher outs. Yanazawa, Partington, and Garbella do up, but there's only 1 out that Nieuwenborn needs to get through. And he finds it for a first pitch strike. Nieuwenborn has brought the thunder, and with this swing and miss stuff, maybe a closing role is what he might be suited to in the future.
Well, he was kind of used to as a closing or middle relief.
High leverage guy,
Yeah.
High leverage. Important situations in the middle of the game.
Look,
1-1 count.
He's been absolutely tremendous, except when he gave up that run that went against bloody Jack O'Loughlin.
6-2 game. West Torrens in a good position. 1-1 count. Nieuwenborn versus Yanazawa. And that rides up inside. Yanazawa just trying to keep the party alive. Series aren't won in 1 game, but they can be put in a good position. West Torrens crowd starting to clap in Nieuwenborn. Helped guide them to a premiership last year. Yanazawa fouls it away, and now Henley&Grange are down to their final strike.
What a tremendous effort by West Torrens tonight. I mean, just, you want to see a team effort? It was a team effort tonight.
Nieuwenborn had a solo shot to tie the game back in the second. It's a 2-2 count. Nieuwenborn now pitching to Yanazawa. And Yanazawa just stays alive. Very characteristic from Koki Yanazawa. Just fouls it away, takes a lot of pitches in the at-bat.
He's your typical contact hitter, but he does strike out, though, which is surprises me a little bit, because the way he bats, he's got good bat control, the way he sort of like goes with the pitch.
Rides it up on the inside, so Yanazawa hanging tough, and the count is full. 40 strikeouts in his 20 Australian Baseball League innings for Mitch Nieuwenborn this year, a K/9 rate that led the league. Full count to Yanazawa, 1 out away for West Torrens. Well, West Torrens fans were celebrating, but Yanazawa is on first base with a walk. He's aboard for a second time today. And now teammates will face each other in the ABL, with Partington coming up to bat.
Yeah, Jack, he can do anything. He scored the first run for Henley, and he's a speed demon. He's, as you said before, the stolen base king of the Division I baseball.
Swings at the first pitch, rips one down the line. That goes foul.
He's arguably the best outfielder in the competition. The fastest.
Was on the team of the year, yeah.
Yeah, he's his speed, his catching ability as an outfielder, and he's turning into a pretty decent relief pitcher.
All on the outside, so still hanging tough. Henley&Grange, they're battling to the final strike, aren't they?
Of course, Jack played quite a bit for the Giants as a pinch runner and relief outfielder.
He's made it now a 2-1 count. jammed into foul territory. Hamley having a look, but once again, Henley&Grange down to their last strike.
You know, West Torrens are pretty safe because even if Partington gets on and, you know, Garabell hits a 3-run shot, which would have won them, almost won them the game if West Torrens hadn't scored those last 2 runs.
Yeah, those 2 insurance runs looking huge. 2-2 count, 2 outs here in the 9th of game 1. Got him looking on the outside edge. Neuenborn slams the door shut, and the Eagles take a 1-0 series lead.
Gee, and they look good, didn't they? They look stronger than Henley.
A complete performance. Everybody in the batting lineup making a contribution. 5 different players with RBIs, 3 different pitchers used. Corticus, an excellent start. Sawada, an excellent 2 innings in the middle, and Neuenborn slams the door shut. And the Eagles are a win away from going back-to-back.
I'd be very interested in the last 20 years, how many times has a team lost game 1 and come back and won it all?
Yeah, the last one that I can think of was Goodwood in 2016 or 17.
18.
Where Matty Watkins came in on the Friday, blew the save, and then won it on Saturday, won it on Sunday.
And got the MVP of the series.
And got the MVP, which was a great story. But when you win game 1, you know what? That's going to be your math, your job tomorrow, Robert, is I want you to go through the last 10 years and find out if you win game 1, how many times do you win the championship?
That's an interesting task. Now,
it's an interesting task.
The Adelaide Giants did it.
The Adelaide Giants did it this last year in the ABL, so maybe Henley&Grange can do it too. We'll be back with the broadcast tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. It's a big day of diamond sports here at West Beach tomorrow. Baseball and softball finals galore. On behalf of Robert Laidlaw and everybody at Spacequake Sports, thank you very much. Thanks, Rob, for joining us.
No worries.
And we'll see you tomorrow.